do wheeze.
Do you?
Yeah. Even though like a poo counts as a wee, because you always do it's like the joke, what's
Do you shake
4 letters long and starts with a P? A shit.
I mean,
We're on, by the way.
Are we on?
We're recording. That's it.
what a way to start.
Leave stuff for the Patreon. Yep.
Yeah. Clip that bit and just give it exclusive to the patrons.
Patreon stand for.
Yeah, I'll give it 5 seconds for the patrons with the
Welcome to P Hour
the patrons with
Who Care
the quirky interests.
and Alex von Krapdorf.
Von Crackdorf, yeah.
Von Krapdorf.
Better than Van Bratwurst.
Van Bratwurst.
Yeah.
I love a good Bratwurst.
Have I mentioned to you about doing the little game you play where you work out your spy name by changing your initials?
No, go on.
So James Bond, Jason Bourne, Jack Bauer, like all of the spy people are like, and those kind of people are like JB. So you change your initials to start J and B. Like I would be not Hugh Keir, I would be Jew Beer. It's not the greatest name.
Jen Bimmons.
I got a friend whose name was Duke Botson. That's his
a cool
spy
name.
name. Megan. There was another guy, Scottish guy, actually was a unit, a little bit thick, and his spy name was Jot Bollard.
Well, I don't know. I'd be like J-Lex, which sounds more like a weird, like
You're
house
like
DJ.
the villain. You're like the villain.
J-Lex Bond.
My name is J-Lex Brockdorf.
You taking the piss? Do you know why James Bond was called James Bond? How James Bond got his name?
No.
I do.
So
His parents.
Well, no, he's not real. I hate to break this to you. Ian Fleming was trying to think of the most boring name that he could, the most non-exciting name, and he had a book on his shelf. He was writing, and the book on his shelf was The Book of Birds by James Bond. He went, "That is such a boring name."
Can I say something that's really bad?
What? That's not true.
I like James Bond a lot, and I like buying little weird things that remind me of certain things.
Oh, have you bought the book?
And I put on the eBay search for this first edition of that very same book.
Yeah. And do you have it?
I haven't got it, but I have it on my wish list.
That's quite cool. That's quite a niche thing.
You'd be Jags Bimmons. Jags is pretty cool.
Jags is like...
Jags Bimmons would be the CIA guy, like
Yeah.
Felix Leiter.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they cloned you, you'd be 2 Jags.
2 Jags. Fatty 2 Jags.
Sound like an
Felix Leiter. Felix Leiter sounds like he sat there going, I need a name for a character. Felix Table Lamp. No.
Use the same rules for the JB, for the Felix Leiter for you.
Fags Lemon. Fags Lemons is like a German assassin.
That's your drag name, dude.
No, my drag name was what was it? Does My Cock Show or something? There's I can't remember. There was a funny drag name and I've forgotten it, and it was something like, "Can you see my cock in this?" I can't remember. Anyway,
Christmas films.
Christmas films.
We should take a second to commend J-Lex on his homemade Christmas jumper.
It looks. It's so good. It looks like the real thing.
It is. So, are you sure you didn't buy that? You definitely made that yourself.
I went out on a tab this morning and I happened to go past a charity shop and they happened to have a grey jumper in it.
And an MP5.
And I spent the best part of 11 minutes with a red Sharpie looking at the internet and trying to do it.
Here's the question. Did he write it in blood in the film? Is the suggestion that he's written it in blood?
Yeah.
Well, no, I actually...
Or did he have a...
No, he didn't bring a fucking
pixel
Sharpie with him, did he?
No, that's what I'm suggesting. But it seems it's not... It's written like that. It's not written like in finger painting.
No, it's written...
No.
Has he got really tiny fingers?
You're only thinking that because Alex has written it so well there. It's written in blood, mate.
No, but it's written in that sort of size. It's not written like a finger painting of a 3-year-old. It's pretty detailed. Anyway, we've kind of put the cart before the horse here. We need to discuss what makes a Christmas film a Christmas film.
Okay, on that very subject, they are remaking and releasing at Christmas Nosferatu.
Not a Christmas. That's a vampire.
Are you sure? Does it not happen at Christmas time?
I can't.
Well, this is the definition.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah.
Because I think there's 2 definitions of Christmas films. There are Christmas films because they actually happen at Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's Christmas films that you associate with Christmas.
Oh,
Or
like
watching
The
it.
Great Escape.
Yes, so I'd call it a dad Christmas film is The
Oh, I
Great Escape.
see.
Whereas Christmas is Jingle All the Way.
So I was thinking there are the sort of looser definition. Well, the loosest, if we go for your what you would watch at Christmas, then the middle one being something that's set at Christmas, and I've got a few examples of that. But then the primary example is something that is set at Christmas and is also about Christmas as well. Like it's got the meaning of Christmas built into it. So that's more Christmassy than a film that's just set.
They
at Christmas.
sound shite. Give me an example of that.
Of which one? Films about Christmas, set at Christmas.
And either about Christmas.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Love Actually.
Lo-
I like Love
No,
Actually.
that is not about Christmas. Christmas is a significant part because it sets the tone of what's going on at the time. It's not about Christmas.
I honestly didn't think we'd be starting off by
About
talking
Christmas
Love
would be
Actually.
about-
Let's come back to Love Actually. Let's start with Die Hard, seeing as we're there. Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie
Available for.
because not only is it set.
If you're
at
listening to
Christmas,
this, it's worth looking at the video. Go on YouTube just to check out this jumper. It's incredible.
Maybe we can give it away.
very visual gag for a podcast. So it's set at Christmas and it's about family. So I think Die Hard is definitely a Christmas film.
Can we discuss the films?
Yes.
Yeah,
I feel like discussing what makes a Christmas film or not is really boring.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but I think we should come up with like a good list for people to kind of go, I'm going to watch that this Christmas. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so films to watch at Christmas as well as films about Christmas.
Which means you've got to service both all of the crowds in a potential Christmas household,
Okay.
including parents, dads, and kids.
Those are the three kinds of people.
And
that-
like, you know, like,
parents, dads, and kids.
I'm trying to get Die Hard in there, and I'm trying to get in.
Die Hard's in there regardless.
Okay.
I don't think we need to debate this. Die Hard is a Christmas film.
Well, if you had to recommend one film to watch at Christmas that isn't a staple of Christmas films, but is associated with Christmas in some way, what would you each recommend?
Something
off the radar.
something that the family could
Off
watch.
but off the radar. Well,
Trading,
Something for everybody.
No, whatever. It doesn't have to be the family.
Trading Places.
Gremlins.
Nice.
I haven't seen Trading Places for years. Gremlins I watched about 6 months ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it at
Do
Christmas?
you remember?
Was it
Do you remember
Christmas?
the thing that the girl says in Gremlins?
About her father dying?
That is the
Yeah.
darkest,
So fucking
darkest, like 3-minute
Phoebe
monologue
Cates.
in a family Christmas movie. And that's the day.
It's not, but it's not a family movie.
It's not at all.
It's no.
On the subject of weird
But
stuff.
do you remember it though? The story
But she
about
doesn't
her
celebrate
Her dad
Christmas.
gets
She
stuck in
hates
a
Christmas.
chimney.
drunk dad getting stuck in the chimney and
Dressed as Santa Claus.
And they don't.
roasting him over Christmas.
Yeah, they don't know he's gone, and they only discover him because of the smell.
And that's when I knew Father Christmas wasn't real.
Yeah. Do you know what? In terms of just totally off topic, from a weird start to programs or films perspective, I'm really widening the scope here. I was watching something on Amazon Prime the other day, and it finished, and it auto rolled into the next recommended thing, which was episode 1, season 1 of Neighbours. Right? But listen, I didn't know. And this thing came on, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
As in Aussie Neighbours.
Aussie Neighbours, right? Which you know to be, sitcom, like, you know what Neighbours is? It's like
it's not comedy.
Not sitcom, sorry, not sitcom, but, you know,
like-
soap drama, soap opera, right? The first episode, the first minute or so of that is extremely strange.
Is that the one where Father Christmas gets gunned down?
It's not. He's not stuck in the chimney either. It's the middle of the night. There's a half-naked lad, like stood in the darkness, and you can see him because his car headlights shining on him like some horror movie. And he's like, distraught, screaming, crying, distraught. Like, what? This is weird. He's like, it's literally like a horror star. And then there's random people there looking on, watching him, laughing, sniggering, really fucking weird. And that goes on for about a minute or so. You go, what is going on here? And then it stops and it goes into whatever the theme tune for Neighbours is. You go, what?
Everybody.
Honest, it's the weirdest start ever.
And what is it all about?
I don't know. I didn't finish watching.
Right.
Do you remember
You
Neighbours.
said me talking about whether a Christmas thing was boring or
remember a
not.
kids
Yes, go on.
program, an Aussie program called Round
Twist. Yes, absolutely brilliant. I
No.
can't remember who the writer was.
But terrifying.
It was
Really?
it was sort of Roald Dahl-esque, but like on crack. It was all so every week something would happen to these
There was a
kids.
story that I've never.
They lived in a lighthouse.
There was a story. These kids live in a lighthouse. The one I can't forget is this kid that had this like pissing competition.
Weeing up the wall. Yeah. That was
And
the one
he
I
had
was
to pee up
about
the
to say.
wall.
And it was all about how high they could wee. And this kid, I don't know, had a wish from a genie or something. And
he peed over the wall.
Weed like all the way over the wall. Yeah,
I was
round the
at
twist.
school. I was just trying to see how far up the wall I could go. I was probably the cleaners hated me.
It's a strong shout to say like Roald Dahl on crack. Bearing in mind what Roald Dahl wrote about, which is giants.
Yeah.
All
Imagine Roald Dahl, but Australian.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is Roald Dahl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Man, it's pretty trippy stuff.
Yeah. Murdering children in a factory setting.
Is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory not a Christmas film?
Yeah.
Is it Christmas? Is it not?
No.
It is, isn't it? It's the
No,
winter.
it qualify as the kind of Christmas adjacent movie that you'll sit down and watch at like 2 p.m.
Yeah, but
on
is it
Boxing
set at
Day.
Christmas adjacent movie.
Oh, no, I think it might be.
As in not specifically about Christmas, but like I think
It's at Christmas, is it not?
I think it is at Christmas. I think he gets the chocolate bar he gets,
does snow on the ground.
or
campfire
the
is
money that he gets to buy the chocolate bar, because that's what he gets from his grandpa is the money to buy the chocolate bar. Or no, he gets a chocolate bar and there's no ticket in it, and then he finds a coin somewhere and he uses that to buy another chocolate bar, and then
he gets the
winning
ticket.
in it. Yeah. I think it is a Christmas film, but it's fucking terrifying. The Gene Wilder one.
Yeah.
It's like
I haven't seen that for a
psychopathic.
long time.
It is incredibly 70s.
Well, I
If you
thought
think about it, there was a time when they allowed kids' movies to not pull punches.
Like The Witches.
Yeah.
Talking about The Witches. Jesus Christ.
Because I grew up
That shit me
in
up as a
Cornwall.
kid.
They shot that at
In the hotel.
Headland Hotel.
Yeah.
Which I ended up being a gardener in at the age of 15. And I was terrified of that when they rip off their faces.
Yeah.
That was grim.
For me, it was the toes.
Yeah.
As they take off their shoes and their toes are completely...
Glenn Close.
Yeah.
What an actress. It is Glenn Close, isn't it?
I don't know.
No, it's the other one. It is the one that people always mistake Glenn Close for. Not Angela. What's her name? She's in the Royal Tenenbaums.
Bryce Dallas Howard?
No, she's in the Royal Tenenbaums as his wife. Oh, not Angela Lansbury. It's Angelica Houston.
That's right. Do you know what's the creepiest part of that film? Is where she's on stage and she's talking about what they're going to do to the children and stuff like this to people. And as she's talking through these evil things, she's hip thrusting. She's like getting sexually aroused. Do you remember this?
No.
Yeah. And she's
Did you last watch
gyrating
this?
with her hips. And she, a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, a few years ago. And she's like hip thrusting. It's like proper sexually
And you were
charged.
watching the correct version.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are a lot of parody.
Honestly, watch it back. Honestly, watch that bit back. Yeah, watch that bit back. Yeah, definitely.
Can we go back to Die Hard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my you probably know this, but my favourite Die Hard fact is that the role of John McClane was offered to Frank Sinatra
What?
first.
I didn't
Do you
know
not know this?
No.
No, I didn't know this.
So,
Are you making it up?
no, it's 100% true. So,
100%?
100% true. So, Frank Sinatra, who was in his 80s, I believe, was offered the role first. The reason being is because they were contractually obliged to offer it to him, because Die Hard is a sequel.
What?
So the book that Die Hard is based on a book, is the second in a series of books about this detective that were turned into films. Frank Sinatra did the first one in
It's not a Marlowe
50s
book,
or
is it?
60s. No, it's not. I can't remember who it is. But in the original one, it's not his wife that's in the tower, it's his daughter. And in the original one, she dies, and it sort of sends him on this sort of death wish thing. But Frank Sinatra did the original film that was the one before Die Hard, and it wasn't called Die Hard, but what Die Hard was based on. And he had the contracts to continue on the character. And so when it came to, like, we're going to convert this book into Die Hard, contractually, he had to be offered it first.
Was the character John McClane? John McClane?
I think so, yeah.
So basically, when Rickman like eventually falls off the top of the skyscraper, you'd have a hero shot of Frank Sinatra, and he'd be going, "I did it my way."
Fuck's sake.
So in the book, he takes his daughter with him.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really dark. It's much darker than Die Hard.
Well, have you... Go on.
That's fact number one.
But what makes that Christmas?
It's Christmas Eve.
What's his wife called?
Holly.
Yeah, got you one.
That's
one.
Dad
jokes ahoy. It's this jumper, mate. I don't know.
I've lost my. It was Alan Rickman's first film.
No.
Was it?
Yeah, he was a stage actor, purely a stage actor, and he'd been asked to do films numerous times, and he'd always turn them down.
3 second silence for Alan Rickman.
So subsequently, I went on a stag do to a place called Košice, which is I think it's in Slovenia or Slovakia. I'm not sure. I don't know which.
Those two countries won't mind you getting them mixed up.
No, I'm sure they won't. I live at whatever huge address.
The butterfly effect of this podcast. There's a holy war in 30 years' time.
In 70 years' time, they'll be teaching this. It's like, we're not exactly sure, but we think this is how World War III began. So, but one of these places, Košice. Košice, the reason why the guy that organised the stag do said, right, we're going for 4 days. I've booked you all your flights. You've only got a handbag, like a cabin bag. You don't have a whole bag. So everyone was like, okay, fine. Turn up at the airport and everybody has a suitcase. And he goes, that's your suitcase, that's your suitcase, that's your suitcase. And I was like, what the fuck's this? This guy was moving to Košice. No. So he organised the stag do to be in Košice so he could move all of his stuff.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
I appreciate that guy.
Jeez, including the fact he had a collection of hats and a full suit of armour. So not because it's a stag thing to do, because he thought this would be funny, but generally because he was moving a suit of armour out there. The groom had to sit on the plane in a suit of armour.
Oh my God.
I kid you not. 100% true.
You've got some great friends, Bag.
So when we got to this is both the best and the worst stag do in the world. When we got to Košice is very sort of former Soviet Union, but some of it's beautiful, some of it's very 60s and drab. And then we were there in black tie. And everyone's like, why have you come to Košice? And we had to make up something because we kept being asked this, and we're a stag do who didn't really sort of explain it. And Alan Rickman had just died. And so we came up with this story with the Alan Rickman Memorial Society, and Alan loved Košice. So we had come to Košice to remember Alan. And the WhatsApp stag do is called Remembering Alan. Whenever there's a story about him in the press, it was always, remember Alan. But yeah, it was his first first film role. Yeah.
Have you guys, on the subject of books and films and stuff like that, have you guys read Rambo First Blood?
No. Not read it, no.
Spoiler alert, there's no part 2.
Roger.
There is no second book.
That is a spoiler alert. You should left a bit more of a gap, I think, between spoiler alert and the spoiler.
I've mentioned it multiple times on the podcast.
Oh, have you? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that Rambo Part 1, First Blood, is the sort of film that you could remake if you did it right?
Is First Blood the first one? I thought First Blood was the second one.
First Blood's the first
one. First Blood's the first one.
What's the second one?
First Blood Part 2.
Oh, right.
But the thing is, First Blood is it kind of hits some slightly more realistic, painful moments.
Yeah.
Whereas 2 and 3 just go completely off radar.
Yeah, the kill count in Rambo 1 is like 2 blokes.
My favourite moment in First Blood is obviously he is come back from Vietnam, and he's going to either find a friend or tell the friend's parents that the friend is dead. And he's just wearing his M63 jacket with his kind of whatever that sausage bag is, walking down the road. Cop pulls him up and says, "No vagrants in this town. Keep on rolling." And then eventually they go and nick him.
Yeah, and then very Jack Reacher.
Very Jack Reacher. But then there's that moment in the shower, and you've got the guy that kind of, they strip him down, they're about to hose him down, and he just spins around. He's got loads of like scars on his back, and then the guy just goes, "Holy shit, who is this guy?" And that just is such a great, like, you know it's going to go from there. You know, in terms of characterization, because you don't know who this guy is at this point. And then he breaks out, and then it's the motorcycle chase, and then he's jumping off the top of, you know, massive crevasses. Round Jumbo.
I didn't know until recently, because I'm a moron, that Stallone wrote and directed Rocky.
Yeah, but you know the story behind it.
He's a boxer.
Well, no, as in...
Rocky. Yeah. I know.
So
Philadelphia Steph.
Stallone was an actor in New York, and it wasn't really going his way. But then he was writing, and he wrote Rocky, but he was adamant that he had to play Rocky, and he was trying to pitch it to the studios, and the studios weren't biting. Then they started to bite, and then little by little, he was getting offers, and he was. Is that the dog story from that time?
Yeah. Rambo.
It was
not Rambo,
so bad,
Rocky. Yeah.
that he had to sell his dog, but he was completely adamant. I have to play Rocky. I have to play Rocky, and the offers came in, and they got really high, so high that he almost went. I think it was almost $1 million at some point. That he was like, "What am I doing? I should just sell it and take the money." And eventually they got to the point at which they said, listen, we're not going to give you $1 million, but we will give you a much lower amount and you can be in it. And he goes back and buys back the dog.
But the guy who he sold the dog to sold the dog back to him for like 5 times, 10 times what. It's like a real dick move. Of all the dick moves.
Baby. It's
all the dick moves. I've just noticed you've got an H&K cap, but H&K Hugh Care.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad you mentioned that. It's the first time I've worn it, and it was given to me by Dave Davis.
Yeah.
Who you know.
Yeah.
A patron as well. Thank you, Dave.
Did you get one for me? No. Cool.
Yeah, but you're not called Hugh Care.
No, but
There's no.
I tell you what I'll do.
called
I
BS.
tell you what I'll do. I will leave the HK cap here. When I'm not here, you can wear it. If I'm here, I will wear it on the podcasts. And Dave,
That's very kind of you.
Dave won't mind. Yeah.
But you can have it. I won't take your HK.
Oh, yeah. I will still retain ownership.
Talking of my weird
I'll know when you've worn it though, because you'll obviously have to
got a
expand
massive
the size.
To be fair, it probably doesn't fit me. 62.
What beret size are you?
62.
Fuck off.
Yeah, 62.
What were you, Alex?
59.
I was 59. You were 59, were you?
59,
I
60.
thought your Swede was a bit smaller than that, to be honest.
No.
Oh, I was 59.
No, I've got a super schwad. I had to have an over large helmet because even the large ones were too small for me. So
Christmas movies.
Stallone, what Christmas movies did Stallone do?
Because obviously, like Schwarzenegger did a bunch of Jingle All the Ways.
Yeah, I was going to say Jingle All the Way is one of the ones
Has
I haven't
Stallone
watched.
done a Jingle All the Way?
No,
Stallone had to have done a Christmas movie. Has to have.
Are you tweeting out this live or whatever?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm going to low-key do this.
Oh, I need to ask you about that. I need a live stream from you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
Have you got a Ethernet connection yet?
No, but the Wi-Fi is really good.
Is it?
No, it is. It's really good. Like people live stream from the States and stuff. It's
Okay, cool.
top notch.
All right, so let's have a look. Stallone Xmas movies.
But if you think
First comes up is Rambo First Blood, a Christmas movie.
Well, yeah.
the same
Movie
way that-
occurs over Christmas Eve and Christmas
Yeah.
Day.
Well, I was going to say
didn't
this.
know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It occurs over
again, it's not
Christmas
something you'd watch
Eve
after
and Christmas Day.
So this is where the things set at Christmas and something you'd watch at Christmas diverge significantly.
Which Rocky movie is during Christmas? Rocky 4. Fred Claus. What the hell is Fred Claus?
I saw an advert. There's a film out at the moment called Red One. Is it Red One?
God, that looks...
But I'm sure I've already seen that film.
That's
I'm sure I've
years
seen that
off.
film.
No, there was a film called Red with Bruce Willis, and there's a load of good actors in it.
No, this is Red. This is about Santa Claus. This is about Santa Claus goes missing.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
It's an
Rock.
action movie, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm sure that film has been made at least 2 other times. Santa Claus goes missing. People have to find him. I'm sure that's been made.
Ooh, right. 6 military Christmas movies to watch this.
Military Christmas. All Quiet on the Western Front. Is that at Christmas?
Have you seen a new one?
No.
I've had that on my save list because I'm like, I need to know when I'm in the right headspace to watch that.
That is the right move. I had to do that in 3 sit-ins.
Really?
Yeah, the first sit-in, I got about 20 minutes in, and I was going, Jesus Christ. Dark.
Yeah.
All the way through, but really subtly dark. And only to get, like I said, 20, 30 minutes in, you go, holy shit, this is hitting different. I've never seen the original, though.
Because there's 2 originals. There's basically 3 versions. I can't remember when they were made, but there's
Sylvester Stallone.
what?
I'm going to read this list. And number 4 on the list, you're going to go, of course.
Of course.
Right, okay, so number 1 on this list of... So this is...
I hope this doesn't nick my picnic.
It's going to nick it.
I've got a
6
banger.
military Christmas movies to watch this holiday season. Ho, 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 we have a movie marathon now. Okay, number 1 is First Blood.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 is Violent Night. Okay.
Haven't
military though.
As we have established, Santa is not a soldier or veteran, but he's military adjacent at this point.
military adjacent.
And sometimes the premise of Santa Claus versus heavily armed henchmen in modern times is too good to pass up. Tommy Wirkola, the same director of the delightfully gory Nazi movie Dead Snow, lets
yes.
Santa, David Harbour, go
Yes.
to town on these assault rifle wielding goons, kicking their butts with hammers and... Okay, sounds like shit.
Came out
Right,
a couple of
the
years
third
ago.
one.
David Harbour.
Can confirm that, Hugh.
Yeah.
Can confirm
Okay.
that.
Okay, the third one. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I need to watch this Christmas. Despite a fantastic, instantly engaging title, this fails to deliver as an action movie. The 1964 campy sci-fi movie does not feature Santa leading a commando raid on Mars, but rather teaching Martians the spirit of Christmas after they try to kidnap him.
Sounds.
Yes, really. Okay, that can piss off. Okay, number 4. What are you going to say?
In Bruges.
Nope. Lethal Weapon.
I was Lethal Weapon's on my list as well, but In Bruges is
Wait,
Christmas.
what is this list? Because I thought this was military list.
6 military Christmas films to watch.
None of them have been
How are
military.
any of
so
the
far.
military?
Well, they have guns.
Most movies have guns nowadays.
I didn't create this website.
Okay.
LA Confidential's number 5.
No, it's not
Three-
military.
Not a
either.
military movie.
Yeah.
Good movie. Not a
Yeah,
military
true.
movie.
It's just an excuse to put a list together, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 Kings is number 6.
Three Kings is fucking
Is a
brilliant.
military movie. Is it Christmas?
There's only 6.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
In Bruges is set at Christmas.
We haven't found a Stallone Christmas film.
No, I did say it was.
We haven't found a Stallone Christmas film.
A stolen.
Stallone Christmas film.
I reckon.
Stallone.
I reckon one of the Creeds probably happens at Christmas.
But yeah, we
There's
did
always
say the Rocky
snow.
films.
Rocky 4. Rocky 4.
Rocky 4.
And 1 as well. Didn't you say Rocky 1 happens at Christmas?
No, First Blood.
First Blood happens.
Is that not the first one?
I never knew that. That's a learning point for me today.
In Bruges is set at Christmas.
Is
and
it?
Yeah, it is. And it is because there's Christmas markets.
I didn't like that the first time I watched it. And I watched it the second time and I liked it.
I bloody love that.
But I think the reason I liked it the second time is because in between watching it the first time and the second time, I had watched The Banshees of Inisherin.
Banshees of Inisherin.
Inisherin.
Yeah.
And that, I thought that was amazing. And the 2 actors, it's the 2 same actors in it.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay. Went back and watched In Bruges. And then there's sort of that on-screen chemistry
Very
between
different
them.
film, though.
It is a weird film, isn't it? I'm not sure about Colin Farrell's character. I can't work him out.
I didn't like it when I first saw it. I think I need to rewatch it because I was taking it at face value, but apparently it's an allegory for the battle for independence in the 19
What?
teens. The
Banshees of Inisherin. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I thought you were talking about In Bruges.
No, In Bruges is
Just
just
the Banshees of Inisherin. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Yeah.
yeah.
I guess with a Christmas movie, there has to be a certain amount of a feel-good factor coming out the back end of it. So if you were to watch The Banshees of Inisherin, or you were going to watch All Quiet on the Western Front, I tried to do this with my family one year. I said, let's watch this movie at Christmas. It did not go down well.
What was the suggestion?
The suggestion, weirdly, was the last Edgar Wright Cornetto movie.
Because that's rubbish.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
It's not. It's not.
this will be fun. And then-
Blessed, because I fucking love Edgar Wright, but that film was disappointing.
Whereas if it's a Christmas movie, it might not be about Christmas, but if you're going to go and watch Lethal Weapon, or you're going to go and watch not Battle of Britain, Tunnelers,
Great Escape.
Great Escape. Like, yes, there's difficult parts to that movie, but equally, it's like that's a great movie. It's
It's a brilliant movie.
Where Eagles Dare, great movie. It's Christmas, not about Christmas. If there's lots of like snow on the ground, this is why I categorize Harry Potter as Christmas movies.
But that's set throughout the year, though. That's all,
I know,
they're
but
all
I don't know.
about.
For me,
yeah.
it's kind of the thing that I'll watch at Christmas.
Yeah, but I think, do you know what? I think that's because it's all about mysticism and airy fairy stuff and creatures that magically exist, but no one knows about them and they can do these crazy things.
Well, how about this? How about morals? Like moral adventures. If you think about like It's a Wonderful Life, that's a dark film if you look into it.
Can we
Never
talk
seen
about? Can we talk about Jingle All the Way?
Not yet. Not yet.
If you want to talk about Jingle All the Way,
morality of like
love
the
Jingle All the
Christmas spirit, it's normally I heard someone talking about it when it was to do with how Scrooge, what's that? Dickens.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's all about
The Christmas Carol.
a Scrooge who gets visited by.
Our friend Mark Stanley played Scrooge, didn't he? A couple of years ago when they released it, didn't they? Here in the UK, they did a Scrooge series.
Did they?
I'm sure he played Scrooge, did he not?
Probably.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But the whole point being is that you've got the Scrooge character and he's visited by the ghosts and he looks at this kind of fake version of the life that could be or wouldn't be, and that they have to change the way that they live to learn how to be a better person.
Scrooged.
And then it all, yeah, we'll get there.
Scrooged.
No, but if it comes into like Die Hard, it's the same deal. Die Hard it follows that same thing, not in terms of a different way.
What's
of living.
the moral in Die Hard?
Well, if you think about how the film starts, he's got a broken down marriage. His wife is left from New York with the kid to go to Los Angeles. Stuff's not going great for him.
She's changed her name.
She's changed her name to Holly Gennaro. It's not McLean anymore. It's a bit of a downer. And this guy comes to fall back in love with his wife as the film progresses.
Yeah,
Comes home for
I
Christmas.
don't feel like that's the moral. That's like it's like a just window dressing to give him an excuse to be there to fuck the baddie up. What's interesting about the film, as I was always pointed to, is oh my god, like what are our values as a Western democracy, and that is that one of the things that's like seen as one of the most amazing bits, and that's a cheery, celebratory part of the film, is when the really happy, nice copper wouldn't hurt a fly, managed to overcome his fear of killing people. At Christmas.
You've made me want to kill again.
It's not because it's
War.
Like,
Expand.
he kills the bad guy
And
and
he
saves him out. It's not just that he killed the bad guy and saved Bruce's missus. It's that you killed again.
Yeah.
Yay!
I mean, I'm not sure that's.
It was
I would
the
say
80s
that's a
skew.
side, that's a side story. I'm not sure that's
One of the most
main-
important bits at the end of the film.
It is, but it's not. It's a redemption arc for him. It's not
A redemption
the
arc.
film is all about.
What's the redemption? What's he redeeming?
Because he killed a kid. He accidentally killed a kid, and he's he's been struggling to be a real policeman since then. Like
And
throughout the whole film, he's constantly having the piss taken out of him by everybody else.
But that's
for
not because
being
of
a
his
good policeman.
downfalls. That's because of his wankers he works with.
Well, no, it's because of he's eating Twinkies. You know, like the number of people
He
throughout
gets
that
a second
film,
chance. That's what
the
happens
number
to
of people
Scrooge.
when he calls it in and people don't believe him. You know, all of that is him. He's the only one that believes what's happening. So it is a redemption for him going back to finding himself being back to being a real policeman. But I don't think that's the key to the story. I think the key to the story is Alan Rickman being a bloody fucking brilliant bad guy. And one of my favourite bits is when he is reading the list of demands out to the FBI, and he's saying, "I demand the release of our brothers and sisters in these the Beinhof 12 or whatever it is." And then he's going through and he reads out the name of an obscure group, and the guy opposite him's like, he goes, "I read about it in News Weekly." it's just so
Have you
good.
ever seen the short movie? It's not a movie. It's about 7 minutes long, 8 minutes long, and it's Alan Rickman. It's being shot in super slow-mo HD when that was like first available. So we're talking maybe 10, 15 years ago. And it is him sat at a table. There's a coffee cup on the table and some other peripheries. And the music, it's in super slow-mo. And the music is that tune from Inception.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Alan Rickman, and you just watch him over a period of 7 minutes gradually change expression and get angry and sweep a coffee cup off the table. But it takes 7 minutes to do so. And it is mesmerizing. You've not seen this?
No.
Oh, I'll have to send you the link after. You can find it on YouTube. Mesmerizing. And what's interesting about that is it's mesmerizing because it's Alan Rickman. But what's mesmerizing about Alan Rickman normally is his ability. He's like an orator, isn't he? His ability to speak, his voice. But this is different. One of the things that sort of overshadows or distracts you from is also his ability to, like, visually, his expressions with his face, and his ability to use his face to communicate emotion and communicate like a story without even saying stuff. The two of those things combined made him amazing.
There is another Alan Rickman Christmas movie.
Go on.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
That's why, because I said, and cancel Christmas. Yeah.
That is a good movie.
I wouldn't say that's a Christmas movie.
No, it's not, but it's one of those Christmas adjacent movies.
Yes.
I'm Robin Hood and this is the Maid Ryan.
Have either of you two, I recommended this to you the other day. Have you ever seen a TV show called Inside Number 9?
No.
Inside Number 9 is one of the best TV shows I think I've ever seen. Every episode is completely disconnected from everything else. They're half an hour long. They're on BBC iPlayer. 9 series. It recently finished.
Better than Black Mirror?
Tighter.
Tighter?
Tighter.
What do you mean tighter?
The twists are so good. It is.
Better.
Black Mirror goes into some interesting places, but Inside Number 9 is just so clever. Like every single episode is.
Is it British?
Yeah, it is. It's written by Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith, who are 2 out of the 3 people who did The League of Gentlemen.
Okay.
I can't stand that show.
But anyway, watch this. There is one episode, they do some specials, and there's one episode that's a Christmas special, and it is about they are filming a TV show, and it's about Krampus, which is the origins of Father Christmas, and it's this monster that takes away children who are badly behaved, and the sort of the terror that is notched up. A lot of them have sort of a horror twist, and in this one, this Christmas special, I can't remember which series it is, but the ending is just like, fuck me. The endings are so good. They are really good.
Where is it available on?
BBC iPlayer.
Okay.
So each episode they do something really smart, and some of them are lovely and touching. There's a very sweet one which is about 2 comedians who used to have a show, and they've drifted apart and they've come back together, and that one is heartbreakingly sad.
Just have a TV license to watch iPlayer.
I think you do. You definitely do for live. I think you should have.
I've definitely got one of those. That's lucky.
Can I just point out your moral obligation to support the BBC?
Nonsense facts.
The BBC.
Nonsense.
Not only employing me.
Love the BBC. Love the BBC. They're great.
BBC. They employ
I've got 2 licenses.
They employ both.
The BBC does so much with so little compared to your Amazon Primes, your Netflix, your Apple.
You're not wrong.
The amount of value they get out of every pound is humongous, and the amount of talent they support who grow up working for the BBC and then go off somewhere else to earn the big bucks. The BBC is consistently putting out really good drama. Have you ever seen Sherwood?
No.
Go watch Sherwood. 2nd series has just come out again. Fantastic.
I don't know if this is the BBC, but there's one that I love called The Shadow Line.
You've told me about it before.
Hugo Blick. We're going off tangent.
Yeah.
It really happened over Christmas. But Hugo Blick does it. And it's a cops versus robbers drama. But the cast is great. You've got Chiwetel Ejiofor playing this cop with amnesia. You've got Christopher Eccleston. You've got a whole shebang of absolutely wonderful people. And it's just seven parts, tight, starts, finishes, no season 2. Perfect.
But if you think about what the BBC creates with the cash that it gets, BBC One, BBC Two, and all the stuff that does, loads of different shows, the World Service, like there's so much the BBC does with the money it gets, plus Rogue Heroes. So please continue to support the BBC because we want series 3, season 3. Come on, season 3. So yeah, but Inside Number 9, the Krampus.
We need to discuss this subject more, but this episode is not the time to.
No, it's not. But Inside Number 9, Krampus, watch it. It's brilliant. It's shot as though it's a 70s TV show. And it's sort of shot as though they're filming a 70s TV show, if that makes sense. So you're seeing kind of behind the scenes and through the cameras and stuff. It's very smart, very smart. But there is a weird thing at the moment, which is horror Christmas stuff. So Christmas stuff and horror, but Gremlins, if we can go back to Gremlins, because I think that's the first time I remember like a horror Christmas kind of thing.
It is a scary film, that.
Gremlins is terrible.
A scary film.
Gremlins 2, which is what most people remember, is ridiculous. And there is so many stories about how that was.
That's the one where it gets really big.
I barely remember.
The first one is where it's like in houses in a little village.
Yeah, it's inside the town. It's all.
And it's grim. It's fucking grim.
Yeah.
People are dying in grim ways.
Yeah.
Like stabbed to death, electrocution. So it's like bitten
The woman
to
on the
death.
scooter, they tinkle with her. Oh no, it's not the scooter. It's her stair lift.
There's stairs.
They tinkle with her stair lift, and she gets launched out of the top window.
And you get the guy who gets killed by a snowplow.
Yeah.
It's proper.
It's
is there not an electrocution in the bath as well? Something like
they get
something wild.
They're in the cinema at the end watching Snow White. And all the gremlins, they lure them into the cinema. Or is that Gremlins 2? I can't remember.
No, I think it's Gremlins 1 because they're all singing along, aren't they?
It's definitely Snow White. They lure them into the cinema, I'm pretty sure. And then they put the sprinklers on and then electrocute them. Or is that the second one?
But showing that to kids, though, you've got to suddenly go like, oh yeah, this is a Christmas movie for kids. Let's all sit down and watch Gremlins.
Gremlins
shell-shocked by dinner.
Is brilliant. And I remember as a kid wanting a Mogwai. Really wanting one because it was so cool.
I've got a little list of like classic Christmas. We've spoken about Die Hard. Inevitably, there's Love Actually.
Love Actually is a brilliant movie.
Oh, I wholeheartedly disagree.
Why?
Okay, right. Let me count.
Pull up a sandbag.
Pull up a sandbag.
This one?
Right. So, number one. I mean, like, give me any storyline in that film, and I'll tear it to pieces. Right. Okay. Number one.
You can do that in any film ever.
There's one thing that I love in Love Actually.
Yeah, go on.
Is Emma Thompson receiving her CD in the bedroom.
No, that is heartbreaking.
Receiving what?
So Alan Rickman.
I've seen the film. Yeah. Receiving what?
So Alan Rickman obviously goes out and buys a piece of
jewelry. I remember that bit. When she gets given the
CD, the Joni Mitchell CD, and in this like 30 seconds, she just melts in front of her kids, goes upstairs to the bedroom, realizes that Alan Rickman's having an affair, quietly breaks down in the bedroom, and then just like, all right.
That woman, though, that actress who he has an affair with, or almost has an affair with, is hot, and I wish she had been in more stuff. I don't know what her name is.
Who is it?
She is hot.
I can't remember. But Emma Thompson is absolutely brilliant. But the reason why I hate that more than anything,
because it's true,
is because when that came out, my parents were divorcing.
Oh no!
That absolutely crucified me. So that's why that part is bullshit. But I think that's an incredible.
So it's not the film that's bullshit. It's your trauma.
That one bit aside, trauma separate. Right,
Andrew Lincoln's character.
Oh my god!
Right,
Andrew Lincoln's character.
Hang on, who's Andrew Lincoln?
The guy that falls over Keira Knightley.
It's a bit cringe. It's a bit cringe.
It's not cringe. No, it's really not cool.
It's actually low-key stalker behavior.
It's low-key stalker. This is a big problem with the movies and people.
He doesn't know he's done it though.
What?
Calm down.
He's his best man. No, I'm fucking angry. I'm fucking angry. He's his best man. And he turns up to their doorstep telling his now wife how much he loves her.
Yeah, but only because she's accidentally...
And she entertains it.
Yeah, but she accidentally finds out. Because he accidentally tells her. Because he does a video, he's concentrating on her, realises shit, then doesn't give it, because he doesn't want her to find out, doesn't want his best mate to know, he wants to hide it.
Yeah.
She finds the tape, discovers. So him turning up on the doorstep is to make amends. Hey, this is the situation, I'm totally cool with it, that's it, move on.
No, it's fucking bullshit. Not only that, how old is Keira Knightley at the time?
How would you have handled it?
If I was Andrew Lincoln...
Yeah,
wouldn't have gone to her door and
would you have
made cutesy cue cards. Fucking bullshit.
You know it's a film.
Absolute bullshit. It's fucking.
It's a film.
So it's okay. That one, right? Okay.
No.
That's
come back
bullshit.
to that. It's the age gap. How?
She's like 17.
No, she's not.
As an actress, she's like 17. It's really fucking weird.
As an actress, yeah, but what is the character she's playing?
Doesn't matter. It's weird. It's fucking weird.
We've found a little
wait a minute.
I've got so much. Wait. So,
she wasn't 17 filming that.
She was. She was very young. She was very.
Yeah, but she's not 17.
I think she was. No. Anyway,
but she was cast as early 20s.
Doesn't matter.
And he's early 30s.
Doesn't matter. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's teaching kids that if you do this, then everything will be fine. It's teaching people the wrong thing. Okay, so one side. Okay, next.
That's
story.
that's another hang up from your childhood trauma. Go on.
Wait, probably next one.
Definitely Bags.
Next one.
I've never seen you this angry.
Hugh Grant as the PM. Wait, you fucking wait. You've opened Pandora's box here. Hugh Grant as the PM, calling Natalie his cleaner fat or chubby or something like that. Not cool. Not on. Not cool.
Does he call her that?
Yeah. He specifically calls her chubby or something like that. It's
The
not
chubby one. He says the
cool.
chubby one.
The chubby one. Anyway, not cool. Do quite like that he stands up to Billy Bob Thornton, but otherwise not cool. Right, Colin Firth.
Hang on. The Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to go a bit further into that. Why? What's the issue?
Why what? It's body shaming. It's fucking cruel,
Yeah.
and it's just like not necessary.
Yeah. Okay. Does he
Anyway.
do it on TV?
Second,
Does he do it
No,
on
it's
TV?
not on TV. He's like
It's privately
he
to the
starts to fall in
secretary.
love with her. He speaks to the secretary. It's like
he is trying to identify who his secretary is talking about, and he is trying to communicate which one he thinks. And the only physical trait he can latch onto is that the chubby one. It's bad phrasing, is what it is.
it's not cool. Anyway, so that one.
How should he reference that?
I don't care.
The overweight one,
the brunette one.
the one who's not as thin as the others.
the one who bought me biscuits.
The one who
Okay.
bought me
I'm
there.
just trying to
Anything,
understand.
Yeah, anything. Anyway, it's just like little things.
Because here's the thing on this subject. Sometimes, in order to identify someone, the only
we're not doing an H on her.
I know.
We're not trying,
I know.
She's not a fucking
But
target.
sometimes the only identifiable thing is something that makes them very different to everyone else.
Yeah.
That could be skin color. It could be ear size. It could be nose size. It could be leg size. It could be foot size. It could be
Size
weight.
of forehead.
It could be size of forehead. It could be beard. It could be hair color. It could be eye color.
She doesn't have a beard.
It could be gammy teeth.
Let's just let him belt feed.
Colin Firth. Yeah, I need to belt feed here. Colin Firth falling in love with somebody, can't even talk to her, doesn't even know the language.
This is the best story in there. It's the only wholesome
it's
one.
not. It's absolutely
no issues
not.
with
It's
it.
infatuation. It's not love. It's infatuation. None of this is love. It's called love, actually. None of it is love. The only one bit that is love is Bill Nighy and the manager, who's Gregor Scott. Is it
Ramsay
Gregor Scott?
Nesbitt.
Ramsay Nesbitt. Is that Gregor Scott? What's the actor's name?
Andrew Lincoln loves Keira Knightley.
No, he doesn't. He's infatuated with her. He's a cunt. There, I said it. He's a bellend.
What about Chris Mitchell getting laid in the States?
Chris Mitchell, I mean, that's just pointless. Like that is just giving British people the wrong idea that they go to the States and he's
making
Colin Frizzle.
It's making those ginger kids feel good. That's that.
Yeah, exactly. That's not happening.
We were
You're not-
underrepresented.
You're not trapping off with models when you look like him. Shit bust.
What about the stand-in softcore porn actor?
That's quite
Martin Freeman.
funny. The Martin Freeman one's quite funny, but also there is something creepy about that, but I can't remember
How
what
can
it
you
is.
say Andrew Lincoln does not love Keira Knightley in that
He
film?
doesn't. It's infatuation.
How do you know?
Because that's not love, Hugh. That's not love.
Describe love to me, Bags.
It's a funny feeling you get in your tummy when. No, it's not. It's infatuation. It's dangerous infatuation.
The bit with the cucumbers
Right, so-
outside the house is a bit.
All right,
If he
so
loved
why?
her-
So why
if he loved
is
her, he
Bill?
would
So
walk away.
why is Bill Nighy true love for what's his name? The other guy, Ramsay Nesbitt.
Gregor Scott, I think.
Okay,
is the
so
actor's
why
name.
is that love and Andrew
Because
Lincoln?
he
Isn't?
chooses to go and spend Christmas with him.
It's dependency. He's got no one else. I could quite as easily argue it's not love. It's dependency. It's lack of options.
Well, the
they know each other very well,
Okay,
which can easily be confused for love.
fine. Let's move on.
No.
No. Exhibit D. Right. The story with the kid playing the drums.
Annoying.
Who then goes to the airport.
Annoying.
Yeah. If that, bear in mind when that was filmed and made, had there been somebody breaking through security and heading towards an airplane,
Oh my God,
he'd have been double tapped in the back.
Bags.
He would be.
Bags.
He would be absolutely, at the very least, tasered.
His dad is
Yeah.
Liam Neeson. I think
you were-
Liam
You-
Neeson would have done it.
you
Liam
were-
Neeson would have no. Pa.
You were choosing to go to town on this film
It's because it's
of
a bullshit
long,
film.
deep
It's a fucking
held
bullshit film.
issues.
And I hate it.
Can I bring this back and bring the temperature in the room down? Home Alone. I don't think it's gonna. Are you all right with that one, Bags? Home Alone?
Yeah, I'm okay with Home
You sure?
Alone. Except for that time I got left.
Okay.
Home
All right.
Alone. No, Home Alone's great.
Hang on a minute. You have just ripped apart a child busting through security
No, I've
in a
ripped
film.
apart whoever wrote the script.
No. And you're saying now Home Alone
Yeah.
is okay.
Home Alone's a classic.
Mate, the kid is like doing Vietnam in his house.
Exactly.
The kid's tapped. The kid is absolutely tapped. To have the imagination to come up with that shit.
I mean, nails through the feet.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the imagination. It's a script written for him. He doesn't have it. And all of it's impossible to do.
Yeah, but it's very fun.
It's very good, though.
Love Actually is not. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Do you know what part of that film makes me cringe? It's not the iron in the face. It is the foot on the nail.
Yes.
Oh my God.
You just see him. It's so well done, though, because all of those things, they just make you go, yeah, well done, kid. My favourite is the Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animals.
Oh, yeah, the film.
Yeah.
The angels with dirty faces.
I
Angels with dirty
thought it
faces.
was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
No, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is a film. Angels with Dirty Faces is the fake film within Home Alone that he watches.
When you watch that as a kid, you do not want to...
Keep
Oh, it's
the
not a real
change.
film. That's not a real film.
It's not a real film, no.
Oh, I thought it was a real
No,
film.
it's not. It's made entirely for the film.
Huh. I didn't realise
Yeah,
that.
it's a fake film.
I always found his parents weird. Like, the dad was off.
There's a big theory that his dad was a drug dealer.
Or he's having some, like, weird affair.
Because of the size of the house, and like there are lots of clues that people have looked into. It's like there's no way that he could be able to afford the number of bedrooms and houses he's got and go on holiday with like
What was his
14
job?
people
What was his
spoused.
job?
He's a drug dealer.
No, but what was his job?
It's
in
not
the film?
explicitly said within it, but he's a drug dealer. There's the only thing that makes financial sense with all the. There's a big old thread on it.
I have actually in real life gone to the parents of one of my children's friends' house
Hold on,
and
wait.
actually had that moment. So one of my children,
For one of your children. Oh, right.
one of my children, I've gone to the house to pick up
Yeah.
one of my children. This is a few years ago.
Yeah.
And get to the house, and I know what the dad is like. As in, I've seen him. I know what he looks like. I've made assumptions based on what he looks like and how he dresses.
Does he listen to your podcast?
I don't know.
Okay.
And walk into the house. Oh, well, get onto the house's grounds. I'm thinking, I understand now how you make your money. Into that exactly that situation. You go, him and the way he is does not marry up with how he lives. And it wasn't his wife making the dough either. You go, okay, I get it. And he wasn't Turkish either.
Why would he be Turkish?
Well, five car washes and 5 hairdressers and rinsing money. That's why.
Is that what Turkish people do?
Oh, mate. Do you think car washes are there making your money off washing cars? Nope. They're rinsing the money. The cars aren't the only thing they're washing.
Specifically Turkish people.
Well, Eastern Bloc and
okay.
other parts of the parts. Eastern Bloc, Asia, well, anywhere that's dodgy.
Geopolitical.
Turkish barbers. Why do you think Turkish barbers are doing it? Cash. Rinsing cash.
My barber,
It's well known.
My barber has just left for Australia, and the barber before him, because I moved, the barber before him that I might go back to. It's a longer journey, but there were 3 barbers in there: Iranian, Iraqi, and an Afghan.
What, in one barber's?
One barbers, yeah, and they were brilliant. Really
They
good.
should not be around
Really good.
sharp implements.
But the barber that I liked looked like the South Park version of a Saddam Hussein. That's what he looked like. Quite small, flappy head, but he looked like a miniature Saddam. And we were talking about because he came from Baghdad, and we were talking about things, and I thought I'd misheard him because he said he left when he was 12 in 1994. I was doing the maths. I was like, I'm pretty sure this bloke's 20 years older than me. And I asked him, how old are you? And he was younger than me. He's like 2 years younger than me, but looked like he was 55. It's like, fuck me, the paper round in Baghdad.
Did you not ever have that in Afghan, though?
What?
You would, I mean, what was they called, the biometric systems we had?
Oh, I can't remember. Those little handheld cameras.
And you'd grab a bloke and obviously get your fingerprints and irises. And then I was working the Afghan, so they do the grabbing. But then they would say, how old are you? And they'd say, I'm 15. It's like, fucking hard paper round, mate, really?
Well, some
A lot of them
places
don't know all that.
Yeah, some places don't know. I was working in the middle of the desert, and the Berbers there, they have to go and register the births. And what they will do is they will wait till there's like 5 or 6 kids have been born, and then they'll send somebody to the nearest town. So depending on how long it takes 5 or 6 kids to be born, there could be like a 3-year gap. So all of them are registered on the same day, but actually could have been born 3 years prior to that. So yeah. And in I think it's China, you get born and you're age 1. They don't have a naught. And you every time it goes into Chinese New Year, it counts on 1. So you can be born just before Chinese New Year, and within 3 weeks you're 2. Somebody might have to Google that. Don't Google that. But I think that's the
I
case.
feel like you've mentioned that before, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did we get onto the subject of that?
Home Alone.
The Afghan barbers.
Okay. No, but with Home Alone, we were talking about how this young kid is kind of just slightly low key.
There's a very good video which is the physics behind all of the traps and what they would actually do to somebody. And I think the worst one was the paint cans. If a paint can on that
If it was full.
rope was full, hit somebody in the face, it would kill them. It would compress their nose into their brain.
I've got another film.
Good YouTube
Nonsense.
clip about it. There's a good YouTube clip about
It's
it.
it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And it's adjacent to the one we were just talking.
The next time you mention adjacent, you have to get the brews in for the next podcast.
I swear to God, no, I did this on the first podcast. I don't
And
know
you
what it
did
is.
say it this many times.
But there's one word, and for some reason I'll say it a million times. I have zero clue, and I apologise to anyone this time.
There's somebody who's like a Soviet bloc spy
Adjacent,
from the
Alex.
70s whose trigger word is adjacent.
Adjacent, yeah.
Every time you say it, it's like, kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. It's like
Adjacent Alex. That's you. That's your adjacent Alex. Now.
Adjacent Alex.
Yeah, cool.
Adjacent to Alex. The Holiday.
Never seen it.
Oh, Jude
Jack
Law.
Black.
In terms of the weird,
Fuck off.
I have the worst. I have the worst story about The Holiday. Right, is that I'd finished university and I was waiting on my start date for the army, and I had 2 options. One option was to go and be a jackaroo in Australia, to go and ride
What's
horses.
a jackaroo?
It's cowboying, but the Australian version. And the other option was to go and teach English to kids in South Korea. And stupidly, I chose teaching English to kids in South Korea. I didn't know, but the school that was going to be employing me was doing it completely under the radar, completely illegally. And I'd flown over there in the school, not going to say that again, fish out of water. Like, I did not know what I was doing. It was such a bizarre experience. And I got really down because I realised that I was essentially working illegally without documentation in South Korea. And I was walking through the really busy streets of Seoul. I was like, I can't speak English to anybody. I can't do anything. I'm feeling so alone. And the only thing that I could find was an English language cinema. And The Holiday was playing. And I was so depressed.
See that, Hugh? You've just ripped apart the one thing.
And I
The
was
one
so
thing that kept
down
you going.
that I just ended up getting like
Well, that and the kids.
a 6-pack of beer, and I just watched The Holiday on repeat, just going, okay, this is just a little bit of something to remind me of home.
Oh, that
I
is
have
depressing.
interviewed someone in here, in this very room,
Yes.
who went to South Korea
Yeah.
teaching English to kids. Who is that?
Was it not him?
You've not been interviewed in here.
No.
We've done only movie things in here, haven't
Movie
we?
stuff, yeah.
Who the fuck is that?
I mean, it was interesting. It was just, I got caught out. It was completely illegal. And I actually...
What was illegal?
Like, my whole contract, the school was being built. And so
Oh,
I didn't...
How did you find the job, or how did the job find you?
So a friend of mine was already teaching out there and having quite a fun time. And I thought, that sounds really interesting. I'm going to go do that for 4, 5, 6 months. And then I said, fuck it, let's do it. And I went. But the school that was employing me was being built.
Where did he go then?
He was in a different part of Korea, South Korea. But the school had my passport in a safe.
Oh, God.
And they were putting me up and they were kind of sending me out to moonlight in other schools whilst they were getting their paperwork ready. And I was just kind of going, I'm getting paid no money. I've got no money. I haven't started proper work yet. And it was such a weird experience. And it got to the point where, and I don't know if I should admit this or not, but I had to kind of phone up my parents who paid for a flight back to the UK. This is a Christmas Meal story. Paid for a flight back to the UK
for Christmas.
Get this. And I was on these weird forums of these English teachers teaching in South Korea. I kind of laid out my situation, and they're saying this is not a good situation. And so I managed to convince the school to open the safe to give me my passport back. I went to this little tiny apartment that I was staying in. I locked the door, put a piece of paper under the door saying, I'm out of here. Adios. Sorry. And
But adios is Spanish. They wouldn't have.
Fuck you. Sat by the side of the road, managed to get a bus to the airport in South Korea. And I was shaking like a shitting leaf, just trying to escape the country, thinking that the cops were somehow going to pull me because I was leaving illegally. And as soon as the wheels took off, my heart was just
a little bit like Argo.
A little bit like there was that Argo. But the funny thing is that I landed on Christmas Eve and I got home for Christmas that year. It was, I mean, this was before the army or anything like that, but it was just not a fun experience. I have zero clue if I can return. I'm sure I can. It's funny.
I can't find who that was.
I have a friend, and again, this is ringing back. I think we might have talked about this before, because I have a friend or a guy who I knew at university called Jamie, who was from the Orkneys, and he was delightfully odd. He would be the kind of guy that if this was World War II would tip up on a beach playing the bagpipes, that kind of guy. And Jamie went to Japan to teach English as a foreign language, and there's an entire generation of school kids that think hello peachy buttocks is a traditional English greeting. So if you ever meet a Japanese person who says hello peachy buttocks, that's Jamie who's has taught them that. But yeah. Home Alone. Home Alone is, people are saying, is partially responsible for the US election dramas we're having now, because Home Alone 2 was Donald Trump's first on-screen role, and what started him down the route of getting more attention that way.
That's reaching, dude.
No, there is entire sort of treaties written on the rise of Trump and where he came from. And also it's famous because Home Alone 2, the pigeon lady looks exactly like Piers Morgan as well.
Yeah,
she's always a fun side.
Reddit.
Yeah. But no, Home Alone is Home Alone is a great film. It just is. But something the whole family. But I remember being terrified of the guy that shovels the snow. The guy who saves him at the end as a kid.
But that's a redemption story.
I know you're meant to.
That's a redemption story.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a redemption story, is it? There's a moral in that. Don't judge your book by its cover. Everyone's really afraid of him. Yeah. And the kid, whatever his name is, the character's name.
Kevin.
How about this?
Kevin
McAllister.
Kevin McAllister. He really frightened him in his horrible stories about he murdered all his family, and then meets him, and actually he goes to the church every day to look at to watch his granddaughter sing, but he's not allowed to talk to her. It's like a stranger. He does. They estrange from each other, and because Kevin convinces him to write a letter to her, doesn't he? And then
a good moral component.
And then towards the end, they're back. He sees the serial killer shovel man with the granddaughter, doesn't he?
I don't remember that bit, but that sounds. Yeah,
do you remember Trading Places?
I haven't seen Trading Places.
Is that Richard Pryor?
No, it's Eddie Murphy and
Dan Aykroyd.
It's actually it's a redemption story in the same way. Is it essentially Dan Aykroyd is this trader, and he works for this firm which is owned by these two old white dudes
who love to make bets.
And you can carry on if you know it.
No, I don't, because I've never seen it. I just know.
Right. And then you've got Eddie Murphy, who's this kind of street hustler, and they want to make a bet to see if they can turn Eddie Murphy into the kind of as good as a trader as Dan Aykroyd, and then they turn Dan Aykroyd homeless at the same time, and it's just both of them experience.
Just sack him, don't they?
They just sack him, and
they make up an excuse to sack him,
and he goes completely off the rails, and
they trade places.
And Eddie Murphy is so good in that movie because he starts off like he gets invited to go and see the old guys, and he's quietly nicking all these things, and they're going like, "No, it's yours." He's like, "Oh yeah, really?" As he continues to steal the the ashtrays. And then obviously flips on its head toward the back end where Eddie and Dan kind of come back together to prove.
But it's Eddie Murphy pretending he's got no legs and he's on that wheelie cart.
Yeah.
There's scenes I've seen of that are just brilliant.
There was some good Eddie Murphy stuff in the 80s, like The Golden Child, which I can only
The Golden Child.
vaguely remember. But then it's stuff like Goonies as well, which to me is a Christmas movie.
But Eddie Murphy's not in that.
No, he's not.
Josh Brolin is.
How did you?
Yes,
Josh Brolin's in the Goonies.
he's the bigger brother.
Goonies.
He's the older brother.
He's the older brother.
Yeah.
Huh.
But Goonies to me is a Christmas movie.
How did you go from Eddie Murphy to the Goonies?
It's this kind of schmaltzy.
There's not even any black
1980s.
people in it.
In what?
The Goonies.
There's not even
there
any
isn't.
black people in it.
There's no black people.
Well, I'm trying to work out the connection.
So there's a brilliant
No, it's
connection
kind of-
between.
Chris Columbus style schmaltzy 80s moralistic family fun movies. There we go.
So Jurassic Park, Dennis Nedry,
Yeah.
the the guy that gets hooked by I'm going very.
Hawk to
He
it.
gets hooked.
I love
think
that.
Yeah, he gets hooked.
Hawk to it, yeah.
The shirt that he's wearing.
She's worth 13 million now.
I don't want to know.
Canal. Good on her. The shirt that he's wearing is the same shirt that Chunk wears in the same pattern of shirt that Chunk wears.
Weird side knowledge.
Oh,
Apparently
yeah.
Chunk
And he's
is
wearing the
now
same jacket as well.
a
He's
Hollywood agent or lawyer, and he is
Yeah.
a Hollywood agent for one of the cast from the.
Is he? Which one? Do you know which one?
Remember?
Because Data is short round in Temple of Doom.
You're okay with... Hang on a minute. You're okay with the Prime Minister saying chubby. Are you not okay with the Prime Minister calling her chubby?
Yeah.
You're totally okay with chubby kid getting called chunk.
No, that's but the problem
Why is
is
he
they
called Chunk
tease him.
Bucks?
They tease him. He's
Yeah.
called Chunk because he's chunky. He does the truffle shuffle. I didn't say I was okay.
Are you saying that Martine McCutcheon couldn't have done a shuffle?
She probably
Is
doesn't
that
know
actually?
I mean, I've got to say because it's just been in my head and I have to say it, and if I don't, it's going to just sit there. Martine McCutcheon, my lasting memory of her is she went on a date with Mick Hucknall from Simply Red, long red dreadlocks.
Okay.
And apparently, in the back of the cab, she threw up in Mick Hucknall's hair, and Mick Hucknall had to get his dreadlocks.
Oh
chopped off.
my God. She is hot. I'm going to say this. Overweight. Hot.
At that time, I mean, that was for a movie, but yeah, she's a good-looking woman.
Not touching that with a barge pole.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh. There's a lot of people in the Goonies that their careers as kids died off,
Who were the two?
and then they
Coreys?
came back. Corey Feldman.
and Haim, right? These two, there's Corey Haim and Corey Feldman,
Yeah.
like, massive in the 80s.
One's dead.
One's dead.
Corey Haim.
Corey Feldman's still going, but
He's
loose,
no, but Josh Brolin has come back,
big time.
and now he's huge.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin ducked out, then started doing Lord of the Rings. I'm sure he did stuff.
Hang
in
on a
between.
minute. Josh Brolin is the older brother in Goonies.
Yeah, the one who rides the little tiny bike with
One that has the bandana.
the bandana.
No way.
Yes, way.
Yeah, big way.
Yes.
That was his first acting gig.
I need to watch it again. I'd not realised that.
But Josh Brolin, as far as I'm aware, was like
Blonde hair, did he not have blonde hair?
no, dark hair. But he was a California kid, like Dogtown and Z Boys.
But his dad's a famous actor.
Yeah. Married to Barbara Streisand. Yeah.
Mick Hucknall.
Wait, Barbra
Attractive
Streisand?
or not?
Check.
Mick Hucknall, he's not my type because he's got
That wasn't the
a
question.
penis. I think he's gotten by
Isn't it weird how
on his
he
voice. He's definitely upped. He's got a plus point, which is his singing career.
Who's this?
Mick Hucknall.
Oh, well, that's success.
Yeah. If Mick Hucknall wasn't a really good singer,
But you're saying he's ugly.
no, I'm just saying.
I'll say it.
Okay. You coming out with all the controversial viewpoints here.
Not controversial.
This is how World War III began. Hugh calling Mick Hucknall ugly. This is yeah.
I don't know. The first thing that made me think of is Michael Flatley, right?
We are going some
Wait,
fucking
hold on,
tangents
hold on.
here.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a film called Blackbird?
No, but I want to see it. I want to see it so bad.
I want to see it
I
so
want to see it
bad.
so badly.
So, Lord of the Dance, Michael Flatley
Yeah.
decided that
Fiddly-dee,
he wanted to make a movie. We've spoken about a film called The Room on this podcast before. which is widely regarded as like the worst film ever made.
It's so
And
bad it's good.
You can go to the Prince Charles Cinema and watch it.
Which one's The Room?
The Tommy Wiseau one, which is like bizarre.
It's the story of it is the disaster artist, the film. How it was made.
Quick, give me the summary. Go on.
You kill her. Oh, hi, Mark.
It is it's a bloke who is having problems with his fiance and his job, and his fiance cheats on him, and he doesn't get the promotion at work he feels he deserves. And spoiler alert, this is how you do a spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear the end of The Room, turn away now. He shoots himself. But it's so awful. It was written, produced, directed, and starring a gentleman called Tommy Wiseau, who is as mysterious as where he got the funding for the film. He looks like Dracula. He's got long hair. It's very weird. But the film is brilliant because it's so bad it comes all the way back to being good. It teaches you how not to make a film. Like there are papers written on this film about how not to make a film, but he somehow got $6 million from somewhere to make this film, which in the early noughties was
Scientology, maybe. Well, so how does that link back to what you were talking about?
So The Room is widely regarded as the worst film ever made, but Lord of the Dance, Michael Flatley, Lord of the D, decided a couple of years ago that he wanted to become an action star. Full circle back to James Bond.
Yeah.
So he's written, directed,
Michael Blatley,
starring, produced by, catering by Michael Flatley, and it's called Blackbird. And we desperately want.
I want to go and see it.
I've seen the trailers for it, and I've watched them.
So where is it at the minute? In
the Prince Charles is a cinema
in Soho,
central London. Piccadilly, Leicester Square.
Just off Leicester Square,
A square. Brilliant cinema, does normal films, but will always put on weird and wonderful films, always puts on films like Alien and Aliens.
We screened, Kajaki screened in there for the Veterans for Peace organisation when that existed.
That's where I went to see it. But brilliant place. But watching The Room at the Prince Charles, so Jess hasn't seen Alien or Aliens or any of the Alien films. It's on at the Prince Charles, and I said, let's go. And she said, is it going to be like when we went to see The Room? Because I took her to see The Room, and The Room is interactive. People throw spoons, people shout at the screen.
Aliens on the Prince Charles now.
Yeah,
I just introduced my eldest to the Aliens over the last 6 months, and she is hook, line, and sinker into them.
Brilliant. So
which
Aliens,
ones, though? She done it the right way round, as in starting front to back. Aliens.
Yeah, stop. Alien 1, Aliens, Alien 3.
Yeah.
Prometheus. We didn't bother with Alien Resurrection.
We
didn't bother with Alien Resurrection.
Watched the first.
We went to watch Alien Romulus as well, or whatever that one is in the cinema at the minute. That was bullshit. But so Alien and Aliens are on at the Prince Charles.
Yeah.
How long are they on for?
They're only on, I think there's 2 showings of each one. I'm not sure. But Alien, the director's cut.
By the time this gets released, I'll be out of
Sorry. Yeah. Alien, not the director's cut. Alien, the theatrical cut,
okay,
which is the best one. And Aliens, the director's cut. Because James Cameron had to cut bits out to make it shorter. So it is a genuine director's cut. It's what he wanted to put out. But Fox went, no, it needs to be shorter. Okay. And they did release a director's cut of Alien. But Ridley Scott went, it's not the director's cut. The director's cut is the theatrical cut. That's the cut I wanted.
Are there any Christmas horror movies that you think like, would you watch Alien at Christmas and think it's a Christmas movie?
No, it's got nothing Christmassy
or any spooky type of.
American Psycho's Christmas, isn't it?
It is, but I wouldn't watch it at Christmas.
American Psycho.
I'm pretty sure that's at Christmas.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
What? The one about the business cards.
No, I know what it is. I saw a brilliant version of that scene. I saw a brilliant version of that scene where it's the business cards, and Bateman is the Roman Empire. So the cards that they hand out are maps of the empires that they've got. He hands it out. People are like, yeah. Then one of the other the others is Spain. So he shows his sort of empire, sort of northern America and all of this stuff, and then he's like, let's see Paul Allen's card. And Paul Allen's card is the British Empire. And it's just like, so very funny way of doing that. But no, I think Christmas horror is its own little genre. But films that I would watch at Christmas, which is what we were kind of talking about at the start, Great Escape is always one. Great Escape. My grandfather was in Stalinluft 3. So Great Escape for me has a very special place. He was.
Sorry, what was the?
My grandfather was in Stalinluft 3, which is the prisoner of war camp at the Great Escape.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he was a Spitfire pilot. He was shot down over Gabes in Tunisia in early 43, and my dad has got all the letters between my grandmother and him, and they are phenomenal. Like he was in a couple of crashes beforehand. Like he was being flown out there in a transport aircraft that went down in a sandstorm. He had a couple of really close calls, and then he was in a dogfight with some Germans, and he knew he could outmaneuver them, but they had more fuel, and he realised they were pushing him out to sea, and he had to come back in. So he went back in. He went low, and he ended up going over a German airfield or an Italian airfield, and being shot out the sky at like 100 feet, maybe even less than that. And he, it's all written down. He woke up in the middle of the desert and didn't remember how we got out.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And his parachute had deployed, but he didn't remember.
Oh, they had parachutes today.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't realise that.
But 100 feet.
But he didn't fly with the canopy on. He was one of the few people that didn't, because there was stories of horror stories of people being stuck and not being able to bail out. So he didn't fly with the normal Spitfire thing on, which probably saved his life. He had shrapnel in the back of his head, and they had armoured seats. And what they think happened, and bits of the seat were in the back of his head, and he'd gone blind. And they reckon that an ack shell had hit directly in the middle of the plane, and the seat had saved his life, and he'd been blown out the cockpit, and the parachute managed to open. So complete fluke.
Oh my!
And he was flying super low as well. But
did you ever meet him?
No, he died before I was born. But his the story is fascinating because he then got patched up by. There was one German doctor at the time who was the best neurosurgeon in the world, and he just happened to be in that part of the world, and he patched him back up and regained his eyesight. And he was an architect, or he's training to be an architect before the war, and so he was very good with drawings. So he became part of the forgery group in Stalinluft 3 who made all the documents, all the fake documents that they needed to escape. So he was part of that team. It was called Dean and Dawson, I think was the name of the group, which was a code name because Dean and Dawson was a travel agent in the UK. So they made all these passports. They made all these incredible maps, these silk maps that they'd sew into the clothes. Brilliant.
That'd be such a great, if you were to make a war movie nowadays, like a World War II Stalag movie. And you'd start the movie with all the different people and how they got caught. And like, you had your grandfather's story of like him being that'd be such a great intro.
But we've got his logbook as well, his flying book. The first entry in the flying book is, this is a new flying book because my last one burned up in a plane crash. It's like, that's a fucking alleyway to start the logbook. And then it's got things like where he Winston Churchill flew into Cairo in September 42 and met David Stirling and gave him the authorization for the SAS to become a regiment. In his logbook, he is escorting Churchill's plane into Cairo. There's also a really cool bits in there. So I want my dad, because my dad is, I've persuaded my dad to start to write the stories down, because my dad knows all these stories from people that flew with my granddad and were in Stalingrad with my granddad, but they're all verbal. They're all completely, and he's the only one. All of his family have now sadly died. His sister died last year, and Oh no, sorry, this year, and so it's down to him now to write the story.
Is he going to do it?
Doesn't, nobody else will.
Is he going to?
Second?
Is he going to do it?
Yeah. But he's got the letters, which are brilliant, and the most heartbreaking one is from my gran when she is writing to him, knowing that he's been shot down and nobody knows where he is. He didn't come back, basically from the mission, so she's writing to him blind. And there's about 3 weeks.
And they made it to Stalag Luft 3. The letters.
They must have done, or they got collected somewhere, and but through the Red Cross, they must have got there somewhere. But it took him, because he didn't get to Stalag Luft 3 until probably September 43, so it took about 6 months for him to get there. But for about 2 or 3 months, he didn't know what had happened.
Yeah, they must have held mail. It would happen all the time. It'd be like, mail come in. Okay, we know he's down. Hold the mail.
That was it. In some of the letters, because they're like the blueies that we would have. So they're a single piece of paper. So on the back you have the address, and on the front you write. On the address to him, it's got written or stamped "Return to sender."
Oh Jesus!
Whereabouts is unknown.
Oh.
And it's like, fucking hell. Imagine you getting your letter back. And it's like, sorry, we don't know where he is.
So he eventually made it to Stalag Luft 3.
Yeah.
Did he stay in Stalag Luft 3, or did he escape?
He didn't escape. No, there was something called the Long March, which was after the invasion of, because Stalag Luft 3 was in Poland. It was after the war started to come to an end. The Germans basically marched them out, and they did this grueling march through the snow. Christmas, that was how they got out. That was the end of the war. But the other thing is the first, like, all of the paper that he writes on is all standard British Army note paper. Sorry, he was in the RAF. Standard sort of an MOD writing paper. And then there's all these letters from my grandma that get sent back because they don't know where he is. And then there's a letter from the first one from him a couple of months later after his eyesight had been saved. And it's on Luftwaffe paper.
See,
it's very shaky, and it's like, please don't be cross. I have a little accident.
I'm not gonna lie, like, that should
Just
be in the IWM, like front to back. That as a story should just be a room where you see it. This one,
it's wonderful. It really is. It's such a cool collection of stuff.
That's amazing. Well, Stalag Luft 3, The Great Escape, Christmas movie, very much a Christmas movie.
Well, they celebrate Thanksgiving.
That's true.
Part of it.
Oh, they do.
What the fuck is Thanksgiving? What is it? I thought it was New Year's, but apparently it's not. They've just had Thanksgiving now.
It's the last Thursday
what is it?
in November.
Is it religious?
No. Well, yes, because it's the Pilgrims. It's the Pilgrims coming over to America, and it's being thankful for
what you have,
stealing all the stuff off the natives and giving them cholera.
Because they're making.
I'm waiting for that reparations conversation to start. I don't think it's coming. Kamala doesn't mention it. Funny enough.
It's like, well, it's ours now.
I always remember that because in our mess back in Germany, do you remember the movie The Patriot?
Oh yeah.
With Mel Gibson.
Yeah, you know the main bad guy played by
Jason Isaacs.
Yeah. He used to be a Hussar back in the day.
Did he?
So we had him the
baddie.
The baddie.
Oh, so not Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs had a big
the British actor.
No, it's in the actual
character,
the real person back in time. It was played by Jason Isaacs in the movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Jason Isaacs, the British actor.
Yeah.
Okay, sci-fi Christmas movies. What can we think of?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi Christmas movies.
I think because Christmas is mostly religious, and most science fiction sort of gets rid of religion.
Top one. Is that sci-fi?
Merbad.
Batman Returns.
Oh, so that top one. That's a good point. Batman Returns is at Christmas.
Yeah.
It's not sci-fi.
Which one's Batman Returns?
The one with Michelle
Penguin, Catwoman.
Happens at Gotham at Christmas.
Yeah. Exploding presents.
The best
Exploding presents. Yeah.
One of my favourite stories about her is
Wow.
the scene where she's introduced and with the whip, and it's in the store, the department store, and she whips off the heads off the dummies. She did that for real.
Did she?
In one take, yeah. Like she practiced and she was fucking brilliant with it. And she went
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Whipped off all the
What
heads.
a fox. What a
Yeah.
cat.
What a cat.
That woman.
That
That didn't work, did it? It didn't. I was going to say what a pussy cat. That wasn't going to work either.
No.
What a fox.
Yes.
What a feline.
Batman Returns holds a special place in my heart because as a kid, my godmother, who's sadly no longer with us, she bought us 3 kids, bought us videos, VHSs, that I didn't realise at the time, but were knockoffs off the market. My sister got Beauty and the Beast. I got Hook. And my brother, who was the youngest, who was about 5 at the time, got Batman Returns, which was way out of left field. And Batman Returns is brilliant. But when she gave us the videos, she said to me, "By the way, these are pirate films." And I took a look at Hook, and I was like, "I know." It took me like years before I realised. Oh, she meant they weren't genuine. Right, got it. Yeah, okay. But the Batman Returns is
Hook
fantastic.
is a great movie.
It is
Rufio.
with Glenn Close in it.
What?
Glenn Close
Yeah.
plays the pirate they put in the barrel. You know, they have when they
Really?
there's a bit on the ship and they either put somebody in a barrel and make them walk the plank. I can't remember what they do.
It's the first introduction to the ship. It's all like shit, isn't it? And you see like ship life and pirate
but
life.
the pirate that has the beard, the white beard, that's Glenn Close.
Oh,
Get up a picture of Glenn. Get up a picture of that
realise that.
pirate in Hook, and you'll see now it's Glenn Close in a beard.
But that was peak Robin Williams, like mid-90s. But
Is that peak Robin Williams? I think that's
talking of Christmas movies. I mean, if you say Hook, I think Goonies. Is that kind of kids' fun adventure movie from that period of time?
no, I think they're different. I would not put them in the same category.
No.
No, I think the timing is very different. Hook came years later.
Oh yeah. But that kind
Goonies was early 80s, was it not?
I think late 80s.
And wasn't Hook early 90s?
like 93,
94 or something like that.
Yeah.
They're sort of within a decade, but I see what you mean. I definitely
It started getting a bit fluffy. Hook was like fluffy. Goonies was not. Goonies was like a raw.
Yeah.
You can get away with fucking murder.
Okay.
on that as a kids movie. You
Kids
couldn't do that
adjacent.
so much in the early 90s.
Indiana Jones as a Christmas movie.
is not set at Christmas.
No.
Not set at Christmas, but if you're talking about short round, in terms of like a fun family movie that's an adventure.
Temple of Doom is definitely not a
No,
Christmas
it's just
movie. That's really dark.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It was my least favourite Indiana Jones as a kid. I think it's probably better than Raiders.
Isn't Temple of Doom the first one?
No.
To do chronologically, yes, as in it's set before Raiders, but it's the second one in the series.
How dare you, Bags?
Yeah, but Last Crusade is the best one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Sean Connery in that is just brilliant. But the fact is, they're less than 10 years apart here.
I thought you were dead, boy. I thought you were dead. When he comes back over the side.
Remember your Charlemagne.
When his dad shows his feelings for the first time when he thinks his boy is dead.
Yeah,
My boy, he's gone.
yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
What else is there? So obviously, I was thinking like Where Eagles Dare as being another classic Christmas movie, but then maybe it's just because there's snow.
Well, this
Hang on,
is,
sci-fi Christmas movie. That was the
I
question.
don't think there is
Sci-fi.
It's gotta be.
Because I think
Flight
sci-fi
of the Navigator.
is that Christmas.
No, but it's Christmas adjacent.
Well, that's just any film. If you're saying Christmas adjacent, no, I
Do it.
I appreciate the bit, but you know that means we can have literally anything. Edward Scissorhands, is that at Christmas?
Yes,
Snow.
it is.
There's
Yeah, I
snow.
thought that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think specifically science fiction, like proper science fiction, is very. It'd be weird to have Christmas in a science fiction film. They're almost like religion and science. They're almost separate. Christmas is very religious.
It's gotta be one.
Well, go on then. I can't think of one. You're going to Google now
gonna
science
Google it.
fiction Christmas film.
It's
Hopefully you'll come up with a list. Yeah, there's a Christmas tree on the bridge, which shows that shows that this film was set at Christmas.
So I've got a list of like dad movies. Oh god, that's gone. Dad movies
Go on.
versus the family. Oh my god, I've just got rid of that list.
The 8 best sci-fi Christmas movies you can stream right
Is
now.
this going to be as good as your
I
last
know,
list?
that's
Because you
what I'm
always
thinking.
Google these lists and they're fucking terrible.
I know.
Like
Oh,
without
I've got one that we talked about. This actually was at the Prince Charles Cinema, but we couldn't make it.
Okay, we got
Last Kiss Goodnight.
yes. Oh, you didn't go in the end.
I didn't.
Oh,
Is that Christmas?
Yeah,
yeah. And snow. There is snow as well.
That is a forgotten movie.
it is.
Yeah, it was.
It needs a revival.
It feels like it was, you know how there's like good 80s action movies. I kind of think of The Rock when I think of Last Kiss Goodnight. It was that good, solid mid-90s actioner.
I think a lot of those because you
That was Samuel Jackson's break, wasn't it? His big break, wasn't it?
No,
I think it was.
no. He was in not Platoon. He was in Full Metal Jacket.
No, he wasn't.
Jackson.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, that's Lawrence Fishburne. Sorry.
I'm sure that was Samuel Jackson's big break. The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Oh, I think Pulp Fiction was before. Pulp Fiction was 94. Long Kiss Goodnight was 95, I think. Could be wrong. Somebody Google. I think
And Gina Davis.
Gina Davis.
Who else is in that film?
I
I
looked.
never remember the name of David something who plays
Plays the baddie.
great baddies.
Yeah. My brain's gone. I was thinking about something else, but 3 things have gone. Yeah, we've talked about this before, but I think the 90s, like mid to late 90s, in fact, the 90s and the early noughties are the best period for cinema in terms of like pure entertainment. And I reckon things like Long Kiss Goodnight weren't particularly well received at the time, but actually, if you look at the kind of films that are being made now, it's probably a lot better than we remember it. So that's why.
What do you say, mid-90s to early noughties?
Yeah. Like if you look at the list of films that came out in certain years, it is banger after banger after banger after banger. Even the ones that you don't really remember.
Should we pick a year and have a look?
Pick a year. Top 10 grossing films. 1997.
Okay.
97.
Top 10 grossing
97.
films.
97.
1990.
Starship Troopers. No,
I
that
think Twisters is probably around then.
Twisters. Yeah. Twister.
Dante's Inferno.
Twister. I barely knew it. No. I think LA Confidential was around about then.
Great choice. I think The Rock was like 95.
I think Rock was 95, 96, something like
I
that.
loved The Rock growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay,
I love The Rock now.
It wasn't that easy to. Oh my god! Look at
banger
this.
after banger.
97. Here we go.
Oh my god!
A Bond film.
Okay, based
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Based on the provided search results,
Yep.
here are some significant movie releases in 1997.
Can we rate them from 10? Like a very quick snap.
Okay,
You say them, we'll give them a number.
6. I'm going to give you 7 movies. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The Fifth Element.
Oh,
8.7.
Titanic.
7.
I've never seen it. I know how it ends.
Is it? You've never seen it?
Spoiler, the boat sinks.
Does it? You haven't seen it? The Full Monty.
Great film.
LA Confidential.
Amazing film.
Amazing film.
Gattaca. Oh, what a movie!
That's on my list of things to rewatch because that's
Try and think about this year and to run off the number of films from this year like that. I mean,
No,
these are
Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco.
Goodwill Hunting.
how's them apples?
Yeah. Pow. Apples.
There's actually a bigger list here.
Keep going.
Okay, Titanic. This is all 1997.
Yeah.
Titanic, Boogie Nights, Scream 2, Goodwill Hunting, Lolita, The Fifth Element, The Devil's Advocate, Starship Troopers.
Yes.
I Know What You Did last summer.
Yes.
Life is Beautiful. Batman and Robin, Alien Resurrection, LA Confidential, The Game, Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Event Horizon. Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke. No.
Well, apparently that's quite good.
That's big.
Kiss the Girls, Liar, Face Off, Contact,
Yeah.
Austin Powers,
Let's see.
Con Air.
This is all 1997. This is not even the 90s. This
The greatest year for film ever.
But it's not.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yes, Tomorrow Never Dies. Yeah.
As good as it gets.
Is that the I could struggle
The Jackal.
and still
Create proper effects. Yeah.
The Jackal.
The Jackal is rubbish.
Cube.
that killed it.
Yeah.
G.I. Jane. Air Force One. Anaconda. The Rainmaker. Spawn. My Best Friend's Wedding. An American Werewolf in Paris. Dante's Peak. That's dog shit.
Classic volcano film.
Classic
Name a
ocean.
better volcano film.
Pierce Brosnan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A better volcano film.
The grandma that needlessly jumps into the thing to pull the boat like 3 yards.
That was
Brutal.
That was brutal.
gnarly, yeah.
Yeah.
Home Alone 3.
Mm,
Not in
7 Years in Tibet. Copland.
yeah.
Copland is brilliant.
Copland, yeah.
Postman.
Not brilliant.
The Borrowers. Grosse Point Blanc.
Brilliant film.
We
Wait,
didn't,
that
we
was-
didn't
that-
discuss that in Assassin movies.
No, we didn't.
No,
we didn't.
Oh, another volcano movie called Volcano.
Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones.
And now
That
that
was-
was Sharknado.
Yes, Sharknado 2. But it was
Feels
that
like we're
was-
out of
It
ideas.
feels like we're scraping the barrel. It was back in that period of time where things got like we had Deep Impact at the same time as Armageddon.
Yeah.
That was 98, I think.
And Dante's.
Dante's Peak and Volcano.
Volcano.
You had these sort of two very similar films made by different
But
studios.
then now you've had cocaine.
Olympus Has Fallen and White
House Down.
House Down.
Yeah.
Exactly the same movies.
I don't know if this is like a pitching thing where there's a good idea going around. And
I've
you've got
always wondered,
two
because
separate writing teams that are trying to get it across the line.
Yeah.
Because I know that there was Cocaine Bear, and I know someone else that has written
Meth Squirrel.
something else which was very Cocaine Bear adjacent. One Cocaine Bear did very, very well.
Great.
Hey, I'm using it now. Use it, abuse it. And now there's going to be like Meth Alligator or whatever. I mean,
Methigator.
No.
I'm not
The
lying.
Methigator.
I am not lying.
Meth Alligator.
Do you know what? It's like
They had like
Cocaine Bear
they
did
had
one.
like snakes on a plane, and then it became like gophers on train.
Why can't we have just a drunk animal?
A drunk animal.
Yeah. Why do you have to be like those
Shit-faced
pictures?
badger.
Yeah.
That's your porn name.
Shit-faced badger. Yeah, I'll take it. I've been called worse.
Okay,
That's marmoset.
But the thing is, you just done 1997. You could do 1996 and 1995, and you'd have the same results, man.
Yeah, they're just
Jesus Christ. You can
go on.
make me
Pick
do
it. You
this.
pick one.
No, wait. No, I'm going to do 1996.
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
No, that was 5.
Was that 5?
5. Yeah. There's about 2 years.
That was the first film that I went to, that I remember like physically going into a movie to go and see.
First one I remember was Robin Hood Prince of... no, before Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, I remember
No, that was
seeing
mine as a kid.
like Aladdin.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
96.
96.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scream.
Amazing.
The Craft. Twister.
Amazing.
From
Amazing.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Amazing.
Sleepers.
Amazing.
Happy Gilmore.
Amazing.
Romeo and Juliet. Mars Attacks.
Amazing.
Independence Day.
Amazing.
Train Spotting.
Amazing.
Fargo.
Amazing.
Striptease.
Yeah,
Jerry
amazing.
Maguire.
Amazing.
Crash. Mission Impossible. The English
Amazing.
Patient. Primal Fear. The Rock. Down
Amazing.
Periscope. The Birdcage. A Time to Kill.
And these are all bangers.
James and the Giant Peach. The Crucible. Kingpin.
Kingpin.
Again,
going back
Space Jam. The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Long Kiss Goodnight. Going back to Michelle Pfeiffer whipping the heads off the things. Kingpin, the bowling competition at the end when Bill Murray is facing off against Woody Harrelson. Is it Woody? No, it's not. It's not. Oh no, it is Woody Harrelson.
It is Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. Bill Murray
No.
bowled like 3 strikes in a row. And like it was all done for real and live, and the crowd going absolutely mental is absolutely real. Because
Is it definitely Harrelson?
It's Woody Harrelson he's only got one hand, and it's Randy Quaid is the guy who's not Mormon, Quaker, who is his sort of protege.
So he's had a good year. So he did that, and he did Independence Day.
Yeah.
He flies an aircraft up.
Oh, that
I'm home.
I mean, that's like they rewrote that scene because the ending was something different. Oh, I can't remember what the ending was. It was something different, and he doesn't sacrifice himself. Something else happens.
We have to ask the questions: what's going on? You know, where I mean, we've had years like that where it's just banger, banger, banger.
The only
banger.
problem with that film is the president.
You said this.
Bill
before.
Pullman. No,
Yeah.
no, he's good. He's good. He's basically Bill Clinton.
Hmm.
Bill Clinton mixed with a bit of Bush. Senior? Yeah. Christmas films, Jingle All the Way. Can we talk about Jingle All the
Yep,
Way?
please
For
do.
one specific
Is
reason.
that Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
That's Schwarzenegger trying to get the
the
Christmas toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is basically it's Turbo Man, but it's basically Buzz Lightyear for
Okay.
that generation. But there's a chap in it called Phil Hartman, who very sadly was murdered by his
The
wife.
comedian, right?
Yeah, yes, he was a comedian, but Phil Hartman you will probably recognise more as doing the voices of Lionel Hux and Troy McClure from The Simpsons. And
Which characters are they?
Lionel Hutz is the lawyer,
Oh yeah.
the terrible lawyer, which is oh no, we've drawn Judge Snyder. Is that bad? Well, he's kind of had it in for me ever since I accidentally ran over his dog. You did? Well, replace the word kind of with word repeatedly and the word dog with son. So that's Lionel Hutz, and then Troy McClure is the actor that does all the adverts. It's like, hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such things as such self-help films as Get Confident, Stupid, and Smoke Yourself Thin. So he was very sadly killed by his wife, who then turned the gun on herself. But he is in Jingle All the Way as the neighbour, and he's the best bit about that film. He's the one who's on the phone to him eating the cookie. It's like, oh, your wife's cookies, they're delicious. And Schwarzenegger's like, put the cookie down! Best thing about
I need to watch Commando again. I haven't watched Commando in a long...
In the pantheon of 1980s Arnie movies, it's not my favourite.
Commando,
yeah. Like, the main bad guy is this...
Australian,
like, big dude in chainmail.
He's not the main bad guy. The main bad guy's some Colombian dude, isn't he?
Wait, hold on. I've got a weird one, which is kind of similar, but Crocodile Dundee.
What about
Is that Christmas movie?
For me, it was like religious Christmas movie. I don't know why I got into it as a kid, but
Is that a Christmas movie?
That film. It's not set at Christmas. Well, no, he goes back to New York at Christmas, but it's not Christmas.
Is that the second one?
But in terms of like those kind of 1980s action,
Brilliant film.
Yeah, man.
Brilliant film. Where he's walking across the crowd in the subway to get to it.
Yeah, and then he like there's
And the soundtrack.
that's not a knife. This is a knife.
Ding, ding. Brilliant.
There's two Dunnies.
And then he starts off Crocodile Dundee 2, and he's out in the New York,
The Ulu.
like fishing with dynamite.
The dude's a
It's
shield.
just Mick.
So good. Crocodile Dundee 2 wasn't bad as it goes.
Well, the first one is she goes to Australia to go and interview him, and then he comes back to New York. Second one is he's in New York, and then there's something wrong with.
They're living there, aren't
He's
they?
got a
They're
son.
living there.
Is his son involved? Oh no, there's a third one, I think.
But there's also
Came out much
there's
later.
another two movies that I think are very similar to Crocodile Dundee, which is like The Jewel of the Nile and Romancing the Stone.
Oh, yeah.
I read
Kurt Russell.
No. Married to Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Kathleen Turner and
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. But
I watched the first one.
Turner, yeah.
I watched the first one. The other.
the first one's the
Jess.
best one, and it
was all right. It's not. It's a bit janky. It's not aged particularly well. I have
They're like
to
a
say.
cross between Indiana Jones and Crocodile Dundee, aren't they?
They like adventure films, but adventure films, adventure films, that kind of thing. The what's the one about stealing the Declaration of Independence? Nick Cage, National Treasure, National Treasure, things like that are just brilliant. That sort of Indiana Jones heist, not heist movie, but you're on a journey to get a thing. There's always the MacGuffin.
So you liked The Mummy then, did you?
Love The Mummy. The Mummy's
the original one.
The original.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, the 90s one,
The Brendan Fraser one.
Yeah. The only downside of that is Rachel Weisz's eyebrows are terrifying. They're very of the 90s.
What's
They're
the
very
film with Brendan Fraser, and he plays someone who's been locked in a time capsule underground?
Encino Man.
No, it's two different things. Encino Man is what it's called in the States. In Europe, it was called.
You're talking. No, I think there's two. There's one which is a nuclear fallout shelter.
Yeah.
One.
No,
And then
with his
there's
family.
one where he was in a block of ice, which is Encino Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, not that one. I'm on about the one where he's in a nuclear bunker, they get locked in there because his family, his dad thinks it's going to be a nuclear.
Yeah, but there is. Oh, I can't remember what that one's called.
One of my favourite Brendan Fraser movies that I must admit, at the age of probably 11 through to 14, I was a distinct metalhead, was a film called Airheads with Steve Buscemi.
I've not seen it. I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
And these kind of these young struggling metal musicians are trying to get their demo played, so they decide to hijack the local radio station. And they go and get some squirt guns and paint them black and pretend they've got Uzis, and they basically have...
Wayne's World. Sounds like Wayne's World.
I think Airheads is if I say it's better than Wales Road, it's going to offend some people. But it's just so much fun. And I don't know, it's just when metal was cool in the 90s and Rob Zombie's in it. There's a sequence. Who's the big fat comedian that died?
Stop body shaming. Stop body shaming. That bag doesn't like it.
Chris Farrelly.
The quite large dude that was a comedian back then he's playing this kind of cop and he's trying to find someone. He ends up going to a Rob Zombie concert, and it's a real Rob Zombie concert. And the guy that he finds is rude to him. He's got a couple of nipple piercings in with a chain in between. He does what exactly you'd expect to happen. He yanks it, and it's just like, oh god, that hurts. And there's always a line which is like, if it's too loud, you're too old. And my inner metalhead as a kid really enjoyed that line.
Have we missed any obvious Christmas movies yet?
Well, there's loads of ones like the Santa Claus. Or again, are we talking about films we'd watch at Christmas?
Actual Christmas movies.
Actual Christmas movies. So the Santa Claus, which was Tim Allen taking on the role of Father Christmas because he kills Father Christmas.
Elf
is brilliant. There's one that I really like that Hugh Laurie's in it and James McAvoy's in it. It's animated, and it's when I think it's called Arthur Christmas.
Okay.
It's when Santa Claus is getting old and
have you guys seen Planes, Trains and Automobiles?
Yeah, great film.
But I really need to see.
Great film.
But that's the same. That's the same era of like trading places and.
But are they trying to get home for Christmas or something like that?
He's trying to get home for Christmas. And
he's a salesman, isn't he?
He's a salesman. He's away. His family's back in the home.
Dan Aykroyd, is it?
No, it's oh god, here we go.
Steve Martin
and
the same
Uncle
like
Buck.
Cool Runnings.
Not John Goodman.
Ralph.
Oh no,
it's King Ralph. He was in King. Oh, that's John Goodman. Oh no.
He also is in Home Alone. He's the Canadian. There's a Canadian band.
Yeah,
pick them
Dan
up.
Aykroyd.
Yeah,
it's not
John
Dan Aykroyd.
Ralph's.
What's his name?
God. Anyway, but he plays this. He's desperately trying to get home. It's Planes, Trains and Automobiles, and he meets this guy, and it all goes wrong. He's trying to hire everything, and they're just it's
John Candy.
John
Candy. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
What? So, if you were to say, what is your not necessarily guilty pleasure, but if you were to sit down, it's 4 p.m. on Christmas Day, you're on your own, you get your choice of movie. What are you putting?
Sounds fucking miserable Christmas, mate.
Oh no,
you're on your own.
Oh god, I love it. If I get out of the house, everyone's done. I've done the walk. I've had the food.
On my own is very different from with the family. What I would suggest,
which I suppose you would have to do with, I guess, at Christmas.
I'd probably do Interstellar.
Really?
Yeah.
As a Christmas film.
Just as if I'm going to be on my own for several hours, Interstellar. Maybe on a Christmas Day when there's nothing else to do, maybe I got a little bit of acid tucked away. I know I'm not working next day. Interstellar's going on. Nothing happening Boxing Day instead of deep self-reflection.
Can I have a film that features Santa Claus briefly?
Yes, you can.
Hot Fuzz.
What?
Hot Fuzz. The start of Hot Fuzz.
Isn't it?
So again?
Santa Claus is in it.
Santa Claus is in it. Not only is Santa Claus in it, Hot Fuzz at the start, it's going through his career and he gets stabbed in the hand by Santa Claus. And the joke is, how's the hand? That's not too bad. But he keeps being brought up. Do you know who plays Santa Claus?
No.
Peter Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Talking of Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson, the director.
My own personal favourite is the Fellowship of the Rings extended edition. If I want just Pete, just settle down and mellow in with some chocolate mushrooms, maybe.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
If like a sit down family watch or just watch all three, like Back to the Future 1, 2 and 3 is quite a good way to spend a day. Quite enjoyable.
Harry Potter.
No.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. Two of the greatest movies ever made.
Have
you watched these films, Bax?
No,
I'm a full-on Potterhead.
I was not, right? I was not Potterhead. I was someone who got annoyed when I would go on the train back in the Disney when the Potter books were out. Everyone was reading the fucking Harry Potter book. Anyway, by happenstance, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 or Part 2. Part 2, I think it was on TV many years ago. And I was like, all right, it's on. Let's watch it. First off, bunch of awesome actors in it. Alan Rickman being one. And it was incredible. And I was like, oh my God. So I want to watch Deathly Hallows Part 1 and then rolled it into Part 2.
And then it made
And
much
again,
sense.
I was like, oh my God. Where have these films been all my life?
Are they
And
the
then I
last
went
two?
back. The last two backs. They are different. And I went all the way back. I thought I need to watch all these movies. Went back to Harry Potter, wherever the first one is.
Philosopher's
First three of the
Philosopher's Stone.
movies specifically are not my favourite.
No, they are
onwards.
child orientated.
Yeah.
But as the films go on and the actors get older, and it's just cultivating this cult following behind it, they get more adult, not like adult, but they get more adult themed, and they get darker. And the last two films are literally good versus evil movies. You can watch the last two and not bother with any of the others. And
I just not watch any of them.
they're incredible. They're incredible. They're incredible.
Films, like my experience with Harry Potter, weirdly, was end of school before uni. While I was working at Sainsbury's and I was doing the night shift. Actually, a really fun job because you basically just go and stack two shelves. My little brother and sister had the Harry Potter. It was great. I was earning. It was night work. You get what was it, £12.50 an hour. But my little brother and sister had the Stephen Fry narrated tapes. And obviously on night shift, you just get left alone. Right, Alex, you're doing the cereal aisle and the yogurt section. Great. So I would just disappear into my little Walkman, listening to Stephen Fry narrate these books. Obviously the books, there's so much more in the books than there are necessarily in the film.
So Stephen Fry narrating the Harry Potter books.
He is so good at it, dude. And they're like 11 hours a piece. Like if for me, I'd go home to Cornwall a lot. That's a 6-hour drive. Sometimes I just whack that straight on. And those 6 hours just disappear.
There's a very funny story about him doing the first one and him not really knowing what it was, and then it became this big thing and he agreed to do them all. And there was one word that kept cropping up that he couldn't say, and I can't remember what it was. But he said to J.K. Rowling, he's like, I can't, this word, please. No, I can't say this word. And she put it in every single book because she knew he'd be doing it. She chucked in this word that he couldn't say. I can't remember what the word was, but it's a word that, yeah.
But I think Harry Potter, if we go back to
Shoehorned it in.
you're talking about how a lot of these Christmas movies have a kind of good versus bad, triumph of good over evil. Not every day is a good day. You have to learn, you have to go through who you can trust, who you can't trust, your friends. Things go bad and you have to deal with it. That is all peppered into Harry Potter.
Yeah, but that's not what I'd call a Christmas movie.
I guess you've got Hogwarts and there's lots of snow and you've got all its kind of pretty Christmassy vibes.
But here's the thing, do wizards celebrate Christmas? Bearing in mind
That's a good question.
all the magic that is actually happening, what the fuck would they celebrate Christmas for? It's like this weird guy comes down your chimney. Like, that's just weird.
Just send it
I
out.
can make up, stuff. Why would I have to have a man coming down the chimney? It's just weird. It's just like it doesn't fit together.
He's a muggle,
It
Hugh. He doesn't
mesh.
get it.
Doesn't mesh. Absolute muggle. But like Lord of the Rings, I've watched them all once.
Really?
I found them quite boring.
Yeah, they are not films I go back and watch.
No.
Oh, I'm on my own here then.
Yeah. The problem,
I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
the main problem I have is is the language. I know that's what people love, but for me, it's like Bingley Bowl has gone to Dingley Den to see
So I tried,
Thumper Dinkle Jump.
well,
and
I
just
tried to read the
lose it
books.
completely.
And I had no clue about Tolkien's work. And it was so hard. Like, I couldn't remember Faramir, Boromir, Gondomir. It was just...
Gondola.
All the words were so similar. But actually to then go and watch the Peter Jackson films and then go back to read the books.
The other,
But you've got Andy Serkis has just he's done the audiobooks, all three. He's really good too. But I guess everyone's going to be passionate about certain things. For me, I'm passionate about Lord of the Rings as a kid.
I think
other
I need
thing-
to rewatch them for sure.
yeah, the thing that I've just realised I find weird about them, they are great. I read all the books as well. Although in similar to the films, when I read the books and I had the one book, the big thick one which had all the books.
One
all the
book
books,
to rule them all.
One book to rule them all. I got to the end of that book, of the last book, and I binned it off with about 15 pages to go. And the reason I literally did. And the reason being is, and I remember the third film is the same. a significant proportion of the end of the film and the end of the last book is just they go to every little territory in the part of the world and go, oh, look, everyone's happy here. And this is how they're happy. And they have a competition. I fucking know they're all happy. I don't want to spend a chapter reading about it. But the weird thing about Lord of the Rings is, especially it translates especially badly into the film, is that the interactions between the characters, they don't seem like real interactions. They don't talk to each other like people actually talk to each other. It's like the words and the way the conversations go and the way they're trying to say things to each other, whether they're angry, whether they're sad, whether they're loving, it all seems very, I don't want to say fake. Theatrical, manufactured. Like you would expect from a stage play, for example.
My what I know of it with Tolkien is that obviously he was a linguist and that he came up with, I mean, what's the film that talks about Tolkien's younger years with Holt?
I think
they're at Cambridge or something, and it's about these three young guys who eventually go to World War One, and I think nearly all of them, apart from Tolkien, die. So a lot of Lord of the Rings is written about Tolkien's experiences in World War One, and obviously you've got, he came up with Elvish as an actual functional language, but he wrote the Lord of the Rings to be an alternative myth for England, for Britain, in the way that we grew up reading Odysseus, Homer, the Norse myths. He felt that there was no mythology for England as a people. So a lot of what he was writing about with Lord of the Rings was, the Shire was essentially, imagine old Somerset. Wiltshire. It's the smoking, weed and working the land and...
Smoking weed?
The old... I'm trying to... Cause
they smoke weed in the film?
Yeah, so Gandalf...
Is that what it is?
Gandalf is a low-key stoner, but that's... The long bottom weed is essentially... whatever. But what I'm saying, though, is that you've got the Shire, which is essentially Wiltshire, the old agricultural way that Britain used to be. That's what we hold on to. That's what we keep dear. That's what we must protect. And then you have the Victorian kind of industrial machinations, and then that of the same, his experience of World War One is what the darkness is and how we must protect England, what it used to be from this dark
green fields and industrialisation,
all that sort of stuff. And then even little things though, so the Dead Marshes, there's that little sequence in Fellowship where I think it was Fellowship, where Sam and Frodo are kind of going across the marshes towards Mordor, and he falls into the water, and underneath the water are these dead people. That's a direct memory from Tolkien about seeing dead bodies in the kind of water-filled craters of World War One. And in the film that looks at Tolkien, there's a really beautiful moment where he's essentially being shelled at the Somme, and I think he sees a burning horse. And what they do is they kind of subtly with CGI make the fire from the horse look like Saruman. So a lot of this pain
is this in the Tolkien
this
film.
In the Tolkien film, but when you're reading the books, as you'd understand this is what he is talking about, and that's why we have to hold it so dear, and that we're trying to hold on to what makes us good and not move towards what could make us bad, what will make everyone bad. And that's why you have this fellowship, the 13 or whatever it is. You have the good and the bad. You have Boromir, who almost stumbles, so close to the end, and then manages to kind of bring it back. And you've got Aragorn, who is this strong leader who doesn't want to lead, but it's thrust upon him and he must. And I absolutely adore.
I've got a funny feeling those films did come out at Christmas as well. I think they were.
I remember seeing them at the cinema, and I remember watching the end of the first one. It was such a weird experience. It's like, I don't want to leave this place. I want it to keep going.
5 minutes left.
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Well, the rumour on the street is, well, obviously you've got Andy Serkis, who's going to go and do these 2 Gollum movies. Which is being produced and written by Fran and Peter, but Peter's not directing it.
Are they prequels, I presume?
I think
What happens to Gollum? He gets
so.
vulcanized.
I think what's happening with this one, from what I understand of it, is so the only problem with the films is that the actual time that it takes is massively extended in the books. So there is a period at the beginning of a film when I think it's when Frodo is, the party sequence. And
I've only seen them once each, so
there's a time between where basically Gandalf has said to Frodo at the kind of party sequence, I need to go and research what's happening with the books, what's going on. And Frodo, when it's the right time, meet me in the pub in the not so local village. There's actually a really long period of time between that party and when Frodo and the other hobbits tried to go and meet him at the pub. During that time,
because it's Bilbo's birthday party, isn't it? It's like his last.
During that time, Gandalf has gone off to basically research what's going on, and Gollum is kind of, I'm not sure where it happens, but Gollum is captured and tortured. It's that little chunk there, which should include Aragorn. I think. I think Ian McKellen wants to do it. I haven't
seen the Hobbits films because the feeling was that they had taken a very sort of reasonably short story and dragged it out for commercial purposes. So I haven't seen those ones. Apparently,
I still watch them. The first one I really like because it's got the singing in it. I don't know why. I like Welsh male voice choirs, and there's so much singing in the books.
I haven't seen The Hobbit.
The first one's really, really fun. The second one,
I've read the
third
book.
one,
I enjoyed the book.
Get strung out a little bit, and it's a little bit silly in places. But again, like a Christmas movie, it's a real comfort place where I just go, I'm going to get a bottle of wine. Maybe
for me, they felt like, when you get a song that it's like, oh, we're going to make this into a ballad. We're going to make a ballad, and then the premise of it is really poor. And you go, this could have been a fucking 2.5 minute banger, except it's 7 minutes of nonsense. I feel like they did that with Lord of the Rings. It's like they could have been a lot. They tried to over dramatize it. They tried to make it too grand a thing.
But it has to be a grand thing.
Has this become the Lord of the Rings podcast?
No, Christmas movies. So recommendations, three each.
Oh, so I just had a thought about Christmas movies because I remember that Christmas time, like the Boxing Day to New Year's, that sort of the Christmas perineum, the gooch, where you're not quite sure what day it is. That was the Radio Times and the TV schedule was jam packed.
In an old little highlight video.
And I was like, you couldn't watch everything. You're like, oh no, this is clashing with this. And so you had to have one TV, like, depending on how many TVs you had in the house. We had one, but I know people that had 2 TVs in the house. They had one TV recording something and one TV watching something else because there was so many. This is when all the good films came out, and you don't get that nowadays. That's what a Christmas movie used to be. Is being sat down watching those absolute bangers of movies, because it used to be, it was a year before you could rent a film, and it was another year before that film would come out on TV, and it was 3 years before you could buy the film. So at the 2 year,
really?
Yeah. Back in the day, back in the 90s, it used to be 90s and early noughties before we have what we have now. There was embargoes, and you couldn't. So it was 2 years before a film could be put on TV, maybe even 3 years. I'm not sure if it was 2 to own, 3 for TV. But they were the bangers of films. Like, oh my God, I didn't get to see this in cinema. This is amazing. So I remember seeing Back to the Future 3 and being like, my God, this is brilliant. It's fine. But it was the fact that it was the first time it was on TV, like premiere on TV. And it was Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Those were the bangers, like absolute bangers. But Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, that is my number one Christmas film recommendation. Not set at Christmas, but it is a brilliant family film that you could just watch with everybody.
I think you're going to have to choose a Bond movie because it's Christmas, and
I thought Christmas only came once a year.
Fuck you, Bags.
Oh, sorry, was that?
You just stole.
I was thinking of that an hour ago, to be honest. That was in my
podcast.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking.
So 1999's The World Is Not Enough. I like to watch because why? Christmas only comes once a year.
Is that what's the name in it?
Denise Richards.
It's not my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Denise.
But I wanted the joke.
Sorry, pardon.
I was thinking of it
literally like 2 hours ago.
Denise Richards of Love Actually fame.
Yes, Colin Frizzle, he has a big knob. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good film. So, what was it? The World Is Not Enough.
Well, it's not enough, yeah.
Oh, God. Christmas film.
The World Is Not Enough is the second worst Pierce Brosnan.
I know, but the joke was there, dude.
Yeah, sorry. I don't think it's worth it for that one joke.
Goldeneye, then.
Yeah. Goldeneye, yeah. Tomorrow Never Dies is better now because it's all about the media and manipulation. And actually, give it a rewatch. It is up there with Goldeneye, I think.
Christmas movie.
Plus, it starts in the snow as well. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, also lots of snow. So that's very Christmassy as well.
Rocky IV. I don't know. I can't think. Rocky IV, I'm going to say. Or Return of the Jedi.
That's not a bad shout.
Because that used to... when I think of Return of the Jedi, I think of Christmas.
There you go.
Because I have memories of it just being on when I lived on the farm. Like you're saying, I think before even we had a VHS recorder, I just remember the film being on TV, and we had a really bad signal because we were literally on the side of a fucking mountain in the Welsh Valleys. Really bad signal, and it was really grainy. I'm watching Return of the Jedi, and I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah. Feeling like the way that Jabba the Hutt looked after gorging yourself on turkey.
Stop body shaming.
Utilitarian. It's got to be The Great Escape as well, because that was always the film that was on at Christmas.
So.
Always the
The
Boxing
Great
Day
Escape.
film. Christmas Day Boxing
Okay.
Day, The Great Escape.
Who are you in The Great Escape?
Probably the guy that fucks up and talks German on the bus and gets them all killed. No,
We all want to say Steve McQueen, so you
no,
can't have it.
definitely not.
I'm going to choose Charlie Bronson because I love Charlie Bronson.
I am probably Ives. Flying Officer Ives. No, horses.
Yeah.
I'm probably him, I think. I think I would take it all to heart and make a break for the wire and get shot.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, mate.
It's October, Hugh.
No, it's not. We recorded this in early December when it's being released.
Oh, sorry, it's early December.
Merry Christmas.
Which year?
Merry Christmas. Trump is president. Yay!
Oh, good. Great. I mean, oh, fucking hell. And on that note,
Bye.
Bye.